Testing. Mic check.
Oh, there we go. Hold on.
Mic check.
Both of them are on, no?
Both of them are on. Turn that off. Testing. 1, 2.
There's that one.
Cool.
Test. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Night Legacy. I'm Alex. I'm here with my co-host, William, tonight. We are starting out in round one down here in, well, beautiful but hot Orange County,
Yes,
Southern California.
at the wonderful Spellhold Games, who is sponsoring our event for our legacy. They recently also acquired Crazy Nicks, and as well as the main location, Collector Legion. And Burn. But I believe there is a daze somewhere in there. Oh, no, he let it go. Now at 4.
I mean, you were saying this at the beginning of the match here. Burn has quite a bit of a game against Scaminator with their reanimates and stuff. They just lose a massive amount of life.
Reanimates are turned off.
So yeah, it looks like Stephanie's just got her lands over in the corner there, which is
Oh, that's fine.
totally fine.
But
That looks like a chain lightning coming
Max
at
might-
Max's face here.
have to start countering these because he does not have much left at 3.
mean, taking one from a counter spell is better than taking 3.
True, but
And there
we
it is
go.
with the with the lava spike there, and it looks like Stephanie did a little knee slap. I gotcha. Cool gamesmanship from Stephanie there.
Definitely.
She's always so excited to play.
It's nice seeing people new to Legacy just love playing.
Yeah, regardless of the deck that they're playing, like having that passion for the game is just such a cool thing to see.
Mm-hmm. And I see anti-life gain in the sideboard. Definitely. Ley lines, 4 of them coming in. She has at least 8 sideboard cards with the Pyroblasts in addition, so 8 to 10. I don't think she's bringing in the Blood Moons. And Max, not sure what he is taking out at present.
Was that a couple of frogs in the deck? Did you see Psychic Frog?
I think I did. I think it's well, after MH3 came out, it became a staple in almost all Rescaminator decks. You want to sell us on how Psychic Frog has changed the burn, changed the I guess Goblin Stompy as well as Painter Stompy matchups.
I mean,
Anything with Fury.
yeah, Frog is just so good. There's not enough to say about that card. I've seen it played in Blue Black Tempo. I've seen it played in like bug mid range decks. I've seen it played in Scaminator.
Delver.
Delver style tempo decks. The card has definitely been making waves in the format for sure.
So how do you like Psychotog became Psychic Frog?
I mean, I think that was intentional from the design team. At least I hope it was, because if it wasn't,
It was very punny.
Yeah.
Yes. But I kind of missed the old Psychotog upheaval decks way back 10 years ago.
oh,
I'm dating myself, but that
I don't
used
remember
to be,
the style of decks, but that sounds
that used to be a standard deck of old and for major control.
sounds terrible. Yeah, we're getting our game 2 here.
Do you think Stephanie knows this is Rescaminator? I'm assuming she does, but she didn't see any attempt to either grief or any reanimate plays.
I'm not sure. I was messing with stream. I didn't see what she boarded in.
She kept in. Oh, she kept in certain cards I would not have kept in, actually. I think she might believe there might be
think she just
small creatures in this.
Yeah, I mean, she might have looked at the deck across from her and saw a bunch of ponders, thinking that Eidolon of Blossoms Eidolon of the Great Revel is going to do some work.
Oh, that's Enchantress talking right now.
Yeah. It could do a little bit of work. I mean, like we said a little bit ago, Reanimator style strategies with Reanimate can just deal themselves a massive amount of damage. So Stephanie looking at, ponder after ponder after ponder after brainstorm, keeping an Eidolon in or even boarding some in if she's not playing a main deck, is a possibility here.
I'm just concerned. I thought I saw a Searing Blaze, which is not the card of choice that I would keep in.
Oh, is that what you
sideboarding.
saw? Is that what that card was?
I
Okay, yeah, it's
believe
definitely
so.
not quite a card. We didn't really see much from Max in that last game, so
To be fair, he had a beautiful hand that he could not do anything with.
yeah, not much of anything with.
Because he was at 10 on turn 2.
Max draws a force. He bins a grief from the underworld or undercity sewers, and then reanimates it. I'm sorry, that's an animate dead. I apologize.
Right. So it's a 2/2, not a 3/2 anymore.
That's correct. So Max is looking at a hand of... See, now this is actually quite interesting. This is actually where Searing Blaze can actually do something.
I was
Not
colorly
saying that it's correct to
surprised.
keep it in, but
No,
it can
no.
actually do a little
maybe
bit
that
of work.
was her game plan because of the Psychic Frogs and the the Griefs.
The problem with Psychic Frog is that it can just kind of
Discard.
grow itself,
Yes, and
right? It's put a +1/+1 counter on it just
Yep.
by discarding a card.
but it's 3
Card's too good.
damage as
Yeah.
long as you have landfall. So she's
Looks
getting
like
rid
Max
of
is
that.
taking Eidolon.
Honestly, it's a great take because if he doesn't have any other reanimate effects, that's an excellent card that reduces both players' life totals equally. And she got the 3rd land. Does she want to do a Searing Blaze, or she's worried about a Force or Daze?
Perfect. Great.
Well, as you can tell, I don't know how to play Burn. She kept it in, and it was great.
Yeah, it seemed to do some well things. One of the things I've seen new Legacy players do as well, which I do want to
And it's back.
and it's back. One of the things I do want to commend Stephanie on is keeping that she drew a land for turn, but she played the one that she had already in hand and kept the information in her hand, which I've seen a lot of newer Legacy players not do.
Mm-hmm.
They just like kind of, oh look, I drew a land, let's put it into play.
Small advantages add up.
They really do, yeah. Knowledge is power, at least in this format. I guess in the game entirely, but
She's Price of Progressing, but Max is wastelanding his own Underground Sea to avoid 4 damage.
perfect. One of the things that he also could have done is wastelanded his own wasteland so that he could
keep a land, but
Keep,
he'd
yeah,
lose
but
2 life.
He'd lose another 2 life, yes.
And he's at, I think that's 11?
That's 11, yeah. So he took 2 off of the price of progress, and then a Skewer the Critics, so that was a total of 5 damage this turn. And Max is looking at, it looks like a Troll, a Force of Will, and a Reanimate. And that Reanimate's going to get pretty scary here.
If he needs to do it,
it's a frog.
Psychic frog.
It wasn't a troll. It was a psychic frog. So that card can get out of hand very, very
The fact
quickly.
it draws you a card after if you don't block it
If
and
it
you never
hits,
want to
yeah.
block it, it's insult to injury. And that's how I feel,
Yeah.
at least.
One of the things that Stephanie can do here is Chain Lightning. Oh,
The grief is down again.
okay. She targeted the Grief, which is kind of interesting.
She's now casting. I can't really read that card.
That is a Skewer the Critics. So
Ah.
she paid full value for Skewer the Critics because she didn't do damage to face with the Chain Lightning, so she had to pay a
Right.
total of 3. So she spent 4 mana to do 3 damage to face and kill the Grief. I think the Frog was an okay target there as well. One of the things that she could have done was 2-for-1 herself to get rid of the Frog, but also dump his entire hand. But now she's empty-handed,
Right.
and Max is going to be getting some card advantage here off of the Frog dealing damage.
Max discard the Entomb,
Yes.
despite having a reanimate in hand last turn, so he must have recently drawn it. Otherwise,
Yeah, I think he
would have
drew it.
gone
I
for-
think he drew it for turn.
Okay. Oh? Well,
That's a Chain Lightning.
yes.
That's definitely going to go to face. It looks like Max also has Entomb and Force of Will in hand.
So he had 2 Entombs. All right. And he has the
And
Ponder
that's Ponder.
for the Force. He's entombing now. Oh, sorry.
He's
I
not
apologize.
casting Entomb. Yeah, he's actually just discarding it to the Frog.
Swinging it for 5.
Kind of hard to know when we don't have audio to see what's happening until the counter gets put on Frog.
Right. We got a Brainstorm, I believe, as the draw. The Frog was not discarded. Sorry, the Frog was not blocked with anything. Ponder shows a Reanimate. Another Force.
Looks like that's a shuffle for Max off the Ponder.
I'd be worried if I was Max regarding any fetch land at this point. Not that he needs to do it, but he doesn't want to bring himself into at 4 damage range potentially. Let's see. Oh,
That's a Lava Spike off the top.
now
But Max does have that double Force in hand, it looks like.
he's going to wait till the very last second.
Yeah, he's just gonna use it at, he could just dump his entire hand
Yep.
here and kill.
And attack for 9.
That's a total of 9. Yeah. So Grief, she could have 2-for-1 herself in that last game to Chain Lightning the Frog.
Right.
Max would be forced to dump his entire hand to save it. Then she could have skewered the Frog again to kill the Frog. Now, that of course that is 2-for-1ing herself to do that, but Frog is such a scary card. And it's pretty new to the format, and she probably only gets to play the once a week, so she probably doesn't know the format that well. I don't know what's correct, to be completely honest. I don't know if hitting that Grief is correct or hitting the Frog is correct, but I just know how absolutely insane Frog can get.
To be fair, the Grief was 2 damage a turn. The Frog was only 1, but honestly,
How much it can just grow.
it grows
Yeah.
a tremendous amount. And 2-for-1ing, but Maxwell is discarding 5 cards. It's
Right.
technically not a 2-for-1. It's a strange.
Yeah, I
It's a
guess
strange
that's
accounting
true.
there.
But yeah, but it depends on what's right. Stephanie doesn't know what Max's hand is, and he wants things in his graveyard.
Right.
So, Frog could help him, or it could be detrimental to him. It depends on what's happening in the game. Now, Stephanie, we just saw her take her play set of. She just dropped a card into her lap instead of onto the table. A play set of Leyline of the Void that she didn't bring it in game 2.
I thought so.
And I think that's because she got tired of seeing Grief over and over and over again from the bin.
Or alternatively, she thought Max was on some type of Delver strategy, which is why she didn't bring in the ley lines.
That's a possibility as well. I guess in game 1 we didn't really see anything but ponders anyways, so.
Which is why, again, small advantages, but I think Maxwell won game 2 because Stephanie thought he was on a different Underground C deck. Alternatively, she just thought Maxwell might not keep a reanimator strategy because, to be fair, UB Rescam doesn't need reanimates to actually win. They can just go with frogs. They can just go with the beatdown.
Yes, they absolutely can.
I have played multiple ley lines on turn 0 and still lost to, honestly, frogs, to, to griefs, and it used to be bowmasters, which they no longer play
Well, yeah,
main
they're
deck.
Not, they're not playing them anymore, right? A lot of them have either like sideboarded maybe 2 or not playing them at all, right?
They put some in the sideboard occasionally, but they were better in a bowmaster versus bowmaster meta. But now that everyone is afraid of bowmaster, they don't hit as many targets.
Right. So, I mean, as you and I said, I think the last time that we streamed together, which might have been just about the same time that Lord of the Rings got printed,
came out.
Was
Yep.
What's the best answer to Bowmaster? Another Bowmaster. So the fact that we're seeing less of them, well, then of course you're going to see less of them in response.
Right. It's a meta response, so the less you play, the more they're valuable they are because people start bringing back in their 1 toughness creatures, and the more people play it, the less you want to because everyone assumes that, well, someone's going to have an answer to this, so other people might not want to play it as much. It's a
Right.
strange dichotomy there. Because the advantage in a Bowmaster, in a Reanimator matchup is not to have Bowmasters, it's to have something beefy in order to get through them in general.
Or just a lot of disruption. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
I mean, this deck there's a reason that it's the number 1 deck in the format. It has everything. It's got Wasteland. It's got Discard. It's got a mid-range strategy. It's got
Combo?
scam in itself, right? It's got combo. It's got everything that it needs to win a game of Magic against any other deck.
It's both tempo, it's both control potentially, and it's obviously combo.
It has way too many strategies to be healthy for the format. What do you think about the I don't know if I can call it controversy, but everyone screaming and crying for a grief ban?
Oh, did you hear about Owl Central Games in Pennsylvania
No.
canceled their $5,000 legacy tournament?
Oh yes, in protest, right? They
In
did that.
protest.
Yes, I did hear about that. We actually have next month we have a Legacy 5K coming up in the Laughing Dragon MXP event weekend.
What day is it?
That will start on Saturday, and it's a very strange time for this. It's very, very weird that they're doing this. They actually did this in the last MXP event. I think that was it was either San Francisco or the Legacy event started on Saturday at 3:30 p.m.
Oh my gosh,
And then
why?
it went 5 rounds, and if you 3-2'd or better, you make day 2 of that Legacy event. And then on day 2 at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, you play the rest of the Swiss rounds, which is another 2 or 3 or 4, probably 3 rounds. And then you're cut to top 8. And I think it's very, very strange that they're putting on an event to do 5 rounds and then doing a cut 3-2 to day 2. But regardless, that Legacy event is happening in LA on Saturday. I believe that's August 17th.
So it's going to be approximately a week and a half after the August, I believe, 9th next ban announcement, potentially.
Oh, is it August 9th? I thought it was going to be the end of the month.
I thought it was mid to early August, right before this event. I will double check for
we'll
everybody.
have to double check that real quick. But we're actually taking a look here. What's happening right now is it looks like we're calling a judge over. So Stephanie played a Monastery Swift Spear. Max played an Underground Sea and Past Turn. And then Stephanie went to Searing Blaze something. But Searing Blaze reads you have to target a creature.
Yes.
And then if you had a land into the battlefield, it deals 3. But it doesn't actually do the damage to the target player. It deals damage to the creature's controller. So you have to have a creature to play Searing Blaze, and Max did not have a creature, so Stephanie couldn't play that Searing Blaze.
In any event, he then fatal pushed it, so I'm not sure there was a controversy after that.
No, but the fact that she just couldn't play the Searing Blaze in the first place
Completely
was the judge call.
Completely agree.
Ponder for Max here, second UC. And it
I
looks like he's
see.
looking at a handful of Animate Deads.
But nothing to put into the grave, and I don't think he's going to get that Swift Spear.
I see a Daze, 2 Animate Deads. That's a Ponder.
Right, I think I saw a Brainstorm in there, but I might be wrong.
And we're looking at their... it's hard to see there. But it looks like he's probably going to shuffle it up here. I saw another black card in Max's hand behind the 2 Animate Deads. I couldn't quite tell what they were. We're actually we're streaming with a lower quality webcam today. We're having some technical difficulties for the stream, but we definitely wanted to put out content for all of you. So any stream is better than no stream.
I agree.
Ooh, and that's a frog. Frog off the Ponder.
But he
Okay,
doesn't
there's
have
that
the mana for
Brainstorm.
it yet. Okay,
No, but it'll just come down next turn.
that's fine. I see Stephanie has 3 mana. I think she has 2 or 3 cards.
Yeah, 2 or 3 cards in hand, perhaps.
And I have to say, Max has had a very slow reanimate game in the last 3 rounds, actually. All of them have been going at least 5 or 6 turns.
That's fine. I think he wants to play a little bit of a slower game here. If he's trying to race burn, it's not going to go very well. I think. That's a Goblin Guide from Stephanie.
Max looks like he's debating.
Okay,
He
there's a
is
swing.
not
That's
get
a
his
troll on top.
Yep. And that's it.
Looks like this is possibly upkeep so that he can shuffle the troll away.
Yep.
He doesn't want to draw another troll here, so let's possibly go and get a swamp or an island.
I wonder if Stephanie boarded in her Pyroblasts.
I don't know.
Just it's a great answer to Psychic Frog because burn is not so helpful.
Yes. Damage is not so great.
But it's pretty much the only thing she can hit, creature-wise, I mean, with it. All right. And Atraxa, I believe.
That's an Atraxa off the top.
But
And
Psychic
there's the frog. There's the frog, the very hard to answer card from Burn. Now, Stephanie did not bring her Pyroblast in. This is going to be a little bit of an uphill, a bit of an uphill battle.
I see a Fire Blast. This is her 4th land, so she's already in a bad situation. But
Okay, so
looks
there you
like,
go. So there's the Searing Blaze.
right, 3 damage. Is it going to be countered? I don't actually think he has.
I don't think he's got a counter spell, but he's just going to grow the frog, and he can grow it to big enough to where he can discard. Oh, is that a go for the throw?
It is. I think it's a foil,
Wow.
actually.
Go for the throw. Okay. So
It's
frog only
Current
needs
tech.
2 counters because it's not a 1/1, it's a 1/2.
right.
So now it's out of Searing Blaze's range.
But now she
Frog has 3 damage marked on it, and then Max takes 3 to the face.
I want to know if she wants to Pyroblast it. Not Pyroblast. I'm sorry. Fire Blast it or not.
That's discarding 2 lands just to deal an extra 4. I mean, I think Max probably just lets the frog die. He has a reanimate
He's blocking.
effect in his hand. He has a reanimate effect in his hand.
Right.
And an Atraxa in the bin.
Oh, yes.
So I think he's super happy to trade frog here.
And now he has the Force with the Ponder, so he has protection.
Yeah, here comes an Atraxa.
I remember Grizzlebrand versus Atraxa debates, and it's no longer a debate.
No, it's really not. Atraxa is just one heck of a card.
I mean, I love my Grizzlebrands, but there's a reason why I only see them in dedicated Reanimator decks anymore.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Atraxa gets to look at 10 cards and choose 1 card of every type. So we've got our enchantment with Animate Dead.
Another creature with griefs.
Grief. Man, once an Atraxa hits the field, that is a Ponder and a Brainstorm and a land.
5 cards. Again, not 7, but he doesn't have to pay life.
No, it doesn't have to pay any life.
And it does wonderful blocking duty.
So, yeah, 6/7 in the air with Vigilance and Lifelink. And Death Touch, but I guess Death Touch isn't super relevant in this matchup. That's a lot of cards.
Gone are the
And he's
days.
casting Grief.
She has the Fire Blast. I believe it's Fire Blast, and she has to do something with it. But she is not casting it. Okay.
Okay.
And then Atraxa,
I think she's kind of all but given up here. Sees the writing on the wall.
no cards left in hand.
Stephanie is definitely the type of person that goes, "Yeah, let's play it out. I want to have some fun. Let's play some Magic."
With Force of Will protection. All right, this game is done in 2 turns if she's not going to scoop. 3 turns, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's hellbent. She's top decking.
Oh, but there is a Force of Will.
There is a Force of Will, and that's the Pyroblast, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the answer, that she did bring in Pyroblast, but
there
he's got
is
the Force of Will in hand, so.
There is an additional Animate Dead in his hand. Even if she killed it, he just get another 10 cards
That's
to look at.
very true. Yeah, he had 2 to begin with, and then got an extra 1 off of the Atraxa.
All right. Stephanie played a good game, but I don't see any way to come back from this.
No, not when Max is doing 6 damage a turn and gaining 6 life.
And she can't
There's
attack.
a Searing Blades.
Yep.
Get him, Stephanie. Get him.
1 damage.
Just get him. Send a message.
Oh, sorry. He must have done this in the last game. Okay. So, given how ubiquitous Surveil lands are in the format, do you think it's reduced the cost of entry, given they often just replace, say, dual land?
Sometimes, but like when you're looking at Max's side of the field and looking at you probably need 2 to 3 Underground Seas to play that deck.
Right.
And Underground Seas being $700 to $800 or more each. I don't think in the grand scheme of the entire deck, I don't think 1 card worth $700 or $800 is enough to lower the bar to entry.
I have to agree with you there. Like, unfortunately, they're never going to reprint Tabernacles, for instance.
Oh, no. Definitely not reprinting Tabernacle anytime soon. And that is...
3 to the head. Rift Bolt and...
Was that a Rift Bolt? Is that what that is?
And it is... Doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Like, I believe Jonathan is playing green Eldrazi Tron
Jonathan
today.
has been on Eldrazi for quite a couple of weeks.
He's varied between Stompy and now 12-post Eldrazi.
Oh, okay. Just the rubbins. Just
He had
the
to,
rubbins.
He had to counter that, really.
He just had to counter it. Oh, Max, you're so mean. So rude. But Stephanie's smiling about it. Stephanie's a really good sport.
As long as
Both
she
these
enjoys
people are
playing
really good
it.
people, and there it is. All right, that's 6, 7, 8, 9 damage, and the game is over. Maxwell takes it down 2-1.
Do you want me to see if there's anyone else who might still be playing?
There's only about 18 minutes left in the round. We probably will not get an extra one, but we're going to go ahead and go to our in-between round screen, and if there is somebody else that we can put on camera, we'll be back in a minute. If not, we will see you all for round 2. Stick around. And welcome back, everybody. Oops, sorry about that.
We had a
That was
mini
weird.
earthquake. All right.
There we go. Sorry about that, everybody. Welcome back for round 2 here at Spellhold Games with our Tuesday Night Legacy. On the left, we've got Eugene playing Eldrazi Stompy. Kind of a an archetype that has... Oh, I switched around
Are we
things.
still on studio? Or-
Oh, no. I switched around Sunny's. Oh, no, it's fine. It's
We're good.
No, we're good.
We're good.
I have to change the round. That's okay. Or the game.
And
That's okay, though.
Sunny's playing 4-color control
Sorry.
with Dak Fadens and Orcish Bowmasters, which essentially force your opponent to draw 2, discard 2, and the Bowmasters deal 2 damage to the target of his choice and puts 2 +1/+1 counters on an Orcish army if one so exists. So it's a pretty nice way to kill your opponent's creatures and make sure they have very little actual card advantage ever. So Sunny recently normally he's our Miracle Master at our store, but he's apparently has changed. Got rid of the color white in his decks, and it looks like he has a lot of forces, 2 forces in his hand. I'm not sure he has 2 lands, which is the problem. And one of the problems with Eldrazi Stompy is the mull rate, I've noted.
Oh, is that right?
Because you have so many lands, you need business, or vice versa.
Oh, yeah. I suppose that's true. I mean, it's kind of the same with any Stompy deck, really, right? I mean, you being on Angel Stompy, we're both Ancient Tomb Crowbox players. So.
You want a great turn 1, turn 2, and if that doesn't happen, your deck is going to lose.
Yeah, obviously with Stompy, you can't really be playing Chromox because you're not playing colored cards.
Which is an issue.
But yeah, Eugene's been on this deck for a couple of weeks now,
and has
it's
done
been loving it.
really,
Yeah,
done really well with it.
Stompy or Eldrazi decks are kind of back in the format thanks to MH3.
And have you noticed all the old Eldrazi have been powered creeped out? Other than, of course, Dot Casts. That's the Dot Knots.
Yeah, pretty much. And you thought Knots here like a sideboard card, kind of. But we're seeing something important to see here. Eugene just throws down a Vexing Bauble. Speaking of MH3, throws down a Vexing Bauble on
There's the
turn 1.
force.
And Sunny has to force this. Otherwise, any subsequent forces or dazes or anything like that are going to be useless.
As a Thalia player, now Thalia's at 1 mana. Essentially, your anti-combo piece is 1 mana, and even if they counter it, you're still up 2-1.
Yeah. We see a Wasteland on the Eye of Ugin. I was going to say Eldrazi Temple, but that's not the right one.
Right. Have you noticed Eldrazi Temples went from $2 to $7, and Eye of Ugins went from $10 to about $70.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember a long time ago, they were really expensive back
Right.
then, too. And then they got banned in Modern, and they tanked.
Right.
And now they're back up again because Eldrazi is a playable thing in
It's playable
Commander.
card in Commander. Everyone wants their one of, and it's not been reprinted since 2015, I believe.
That sounds about right.
Right. And Eldrazi Temple, because it just came out in the Commander list for the new Eldrazi.
Was it
Commander
actually
deck.
in the Commander deck?
There was a one of, so the
Okay.
prices only went up 300%.
Only.
Well, $2 to $7, $8, yeah, only 300%. Okay, I believe this is Eldrazi Linebreaker. I wanted to make sure, which is essentially a 3 mana, 1 colorless, 1 colorless, 1 red, 1 Eldrazi mana. It's essentially a 3/3 that gives haste equal to the number of Eldrazi you have in play, and itself has trample. So, in effect, it can give any new Eldrazi that is played a +2/+0 and haste when it comes in. It's one of the more recent powerhouses that come in MH3.
Yeah, the beginning of combat on your turn. That's
Yep.
great. Yeah.
The only problem, however, with it is that most Eldrazi Stompy lists are taking out a full playset to just do 2 or 3 nowadays. It's an extremely powerful card, but it's aggro-focused.
Yeah, I mean, there's the mid-range or like big versions of these Eldrazi decks, but Eugene's on this Stompy version, which plays kind of low to the ground, like max out at 4 mana, maybe.
It-
I don't actually have his list.
It can go up to 7 mana, honestly, with I believe there's that new Eldrazi card that essentially acts like Once Upon a Time. If you remember the name, it's a 7 mana. When you actually cast it, it destroys target colored permanent. But if it's in your hand, you look at the top 4 cards before your first draw
before your
step.
first turn, yeah.
But the problem is you have to exile everything but the one card you put on top of your library.
Oh, is it exiled? That seems okay.
Now,
that seems fine.
In Modern, it's great because you can just put that and get it back with your Ugin's Labyrinth.
Oh, yes. Another card from MH3.
Oh, no,
is-
sorry. Not Ugin's Labyrinth. I apologize. It interacts with... Ulamog, because it's exiled, so you just exile your biggest
Oh,
fattest
sure.
thing,
Yeah, yeah. That
cast
makes
your
sense.
Ulamog, it gets Annihilator 7 or something like that.
Yeah, it's big.
So
Big and dumb.
it looks like Eugene is well on his way into attack mode. There's this new Eldrazi 2/2 that comes into play and gives all your other Eldrazi or colorless creatures a +1/+1.
See an Uro from Sunny. He's updated us, by the way. I mean, I guess it is 4-color control, but he is titled it Striflepile.
Mm-hmm.
Sunny's at a very unhealthy 8 life, but the Uro is going to do a little bit of work here.
Well, it's in play, so now it's the biggest creature on the board. And I've noticed Eugene has a horrible lack of actual mana producers right now.
Yeah, the Wasteland on the... Looks like he double Wastelanded him. There, he had an Eldrazi Temple there, as well as the Eye of Ugin that we saw in the early game.
Well, I believe Strifle, he generally enjoys also playing at least one of Life from the Loam, just to get back his Wastelands and other destroyed cards in his graveyard. So
Makes sense.
And then we have our Psychic Frog back in, which with Life from the Loam is a disgusting combo.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. And speaking of the Life from the Loam, he just... Yeah, Sunny's just pitching the 3 lands, getting them all back with Life from the Loam. There it is.
And
Might
pitching
as well
them again.
grow them. Yeah.
That's going to be a 7/8 frog on his first turn into play.
That's actually kind of an interesting thing, right? So as soon as Frog connects, you can actually... you can dredge Life from the Loam back to your hand.
Yes.
Pitch the lands, get it back. Oh my gosh. Psychic Frog doing more work.
It's bigger than Atraxa, Grizzlebrand, and any dragon in Legacy at this point. I'm sorry.
Why does the frog have reach? Or no, I'm sorry. Why does it have flying?
It can hop.
It should...
It can hop.
Yeah,
It's
but
just a frog.
you would think that because of its long tongue, it would be like hitting things in the air.
I can
But
understand.
not getting flying itself. Like, I've played against the card multiple times, and I always forget that you can give it flying.
I just think of it as jumping. It shouldn't survive the landing, but whatever.
Yeah, a little tiny. I guess depends on how big it is. The bigger it gets, the
Heavier it becomes, it'll crush itself under its own. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the bigger you are, the harder you fall, right?
No, it's still the size of a tiny, tiny frog. It's just a 7/8.
But in the face of the frog there, Eugene decides to scoop it up. And we actually did see Thought-Knot Seer in the main deck there. We're also seeing, of course, so we saw it on turn 1, but multiple Vexing Baubles in the main deck. He's also playing the One Ring. Just kind of taking a look at his deck as he's cycling through the cards here. As someone who's dabbled in stompy decks for a long time myself, I have not really been interested in the Eldrazi deck.
Is there a
I don't
reason
really,
why?
No, I don't know why. I'm not sure.
I'm just pulling up a very quick general Eldrazi
Oh,
Stompy
yeah,
deck list.
The Fleshraker and...
It
Devourer
that-
of Destiny,
it
that's
that-
the 7-drop
right.
you were talking
It
about.
that heralds the end was the other pumper that he was
that
using.
he had on field, yeah.
Which I think is a fine card because you can just cast that on one Eldrazi temple. It also reduces the colorless mana of spells that are 7 or more that are colorless. So
It's basically an Eldrazi lord of
yes,
sorts. Yeah.
it makes Devourer of Destinies much quicker to cast. Your Null Drifters quicker to cast, and I love It that heralds the end combination combined with Kozilek's command. All those 0/1s become 1/2s
Yes.
at that point
Yes.
for an end of turn haste of essentially.
I have seen Kozilek's command cast for a lot of Eldrazi spawn in like the post decks that are playing that card. They play it as like a 3 or 4 of in the main
It
deck.
used to be 0. Then they said, "Oh no, this is good."
Yeah,
1,
Kozilek's command is just
2.
really good.
I've seen 2, but I haven't seen 4 at this point yet. But I'm assuming they're going to put it in and get rid of some things like, well, some decks were playing Devourer of Destiny, or they were playing that green. I forgot the green spell that costs 0 if you cast it on turn. If you don't play another spell. I believe most green decks used to be playing it.
Oh, Once Upon a Time?
Thank you. Once upon a time, right. Instead of doing that, because the big Eldrazi-tron sometimes has a lot of whiff potential,
Yeah, it does.
Kozilek's command offers excellent blockers, destroys a creature, protects your opponent, destroys your opponent's graveyard, and scries for an infinite amount occasionally, and draws a card.
Is that a Leyline of the Void and a turn 1 Vexing Bauble from
Yes.
Eugene on turn 1?
Yes, he's decided to go all hate.
He said, I can't deal with Frog and Life from the Loam. All right, Leyline's coming in here. That's a Tameo coming in from Sunny. Over the weekend, I played in the Legacy event that we had here at Spellhold.
How did you do?
I went 1 and 2. There were only 3 rounds. So unfortunately, only 6 players. A lot of people have had stuff going on that weekend, but it was okay. It's still a great time.
We have a Thought Knot, and is that Drown in the Loch?
It looks like Drawn in the Loch.
Well, Eugene followed up his turn 1 Bauble Leyline with a turn 2 Thought Knot, so he has a great tempo right now. Let's see if he can beat a Tameo. However, what do you think of that card?
Tameo has been way better than I initially thought it was. I really, really under-evaluated that card. And, I mean, a single Brainstorm does flip it. But the fact that, like, it's got flying, so what that it's a 0/3, it can just get in and oftentimes just draws you multiple cards. If you go, like, draw for turn, ponder, crack the clue, then you flip Tameo, and Tameo can get out of hand real quick. Especially if you just, like, have Bowmasters to block it or something like that. Like, if you Tameo ult, more than likely the game is over.
I've noted, however, some players swear that Tameo unflipped is just value engine, and if they can't get rid of it,
yeah, it is definitely a value engine.
You just sack those clues later on. You draw
we're seeing
2
it
or
right
3.
now. Sunny just drew a card with, nothing, just two mana and passed.
To be fair,
didn't have to cast the Drown in the Loch that was in his hand, and
here we go.
Dak Faden.
Yes. Now he's gonna put that. Uro into the graveyard most likely, after he draws 2.
Looks like he's pitching the Drown in the Loch.
Into exile.
Yeah.
So he's not putting. Well, he might put in the Uro, but I don't know.
No,
Maybe he
looks like
just
a
wants the
swamp
cantrip. And it flips.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about Dak Faden doing it.
Well,
Dak Faden flipping it.
All it needs is 1 activation, right?
That's true.
So what is Tameo's +1 ability?
Tameo's +1 ability is akin to the Jace Architect Thought that was in like the Return to Ravnica block, where it says if a creature would attack you, I believe, it gets -1, -0. Yeah, until your next turn, whenever a creature attacks you or a Planeswalker control, it gets -1, -0 until end of turn.
Which is a great way to protect itself.
Yeah, a huge way to protect
But the -3 is a great option.
Yeah, return target instant sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. If it's a green card, add 1 mana of any color.
Now,
that doesn't particularly matter. Most
Right
decks that
now.
are playing Tameo are not returning green cards. They're just getting cantrips back and things like that.
And not with Leyline on the field.
Well, no, not with a Leyline on the field, but like, if you've ever seen a flipped Tameo and an unflipped Tameo,
Right.
that's just so much value.
Right.
You tick it down, get your cantrip back, cast the cantrip, flip Tameo again, and then you can just immediately uptick her. So you've dug down probably like 6 or so cards that turn, and you still have a Tameo on field. It's just good. And here we're seeing actually a Kozilek's command
Now
from
we're just
Eugene
talking
here.
about this card and how honestly great it is because it destroys a creature. Or you can pick two, of course. Get rid of creatures or cards in your person's graveyard. Leyline's covering that. Look at the top X cards of your library.
Yeah, it's scry X cards, then draw a card.
Exactly.
Even if you cast it for 0, you're still drawing a card.
Yeah. And most of the time, because of its interaction with Eye of Ugin and Eldrazi Temple, you're getting a discount because it's an Eldrazi spell.
Right. It has the
Kindred, I
the
believe.
Kindred super type.
Right. Now, like you were talking about Tameo, you can have one infield. It doesn't legend ruled itself most of the time.
Yeah, not when you have front faced and a planeswalker version. No.
Exactly. And if any of you want the card, it's only good $25. So
It's actually gone down over the last couple of weeks.
Right.
It was almost 40.
well, if you want the foil one, it's 40.
Oh well.
But if you are looking to buy cards,
I'm surprised the foil actually has a multiplier. Most I guess it's a supplemental set. It's not a standard set, but like foil versions of cards in standard sets just really don't have any sort of a multiplier.
now I see a card with 4 counters on it on Eugene's side. Do you know what that is?
Those are 4 Eldrazi spawn
Oh,
that he
thank
got
you.
from casting his Kozilek's command.
Got it.
Yeah, so his modes when he cast that spell were make 4 dudes and scry 4 and draw a card. And Eugene did like one of the cards that he saw because he kept the card on top. And that looks like an Assassin's Trophy from Sunny here, targeting the ley line.
He has to. If he has it, now most Eldrazi Stompy decks run at least one basic, but I think I saw a waste already in play. Sometimes they run additional forest. Given Eugene's looking, I think he has another basic.
Yeah, I think Eugene is running at least 1 or 2 forests in the deck.
Oh, I saw Null Elemental Blast in that. Quick
No
search.
Elemental Blast is a really cool card.
And again, if you're looking for any new MH cards, take a look at Spellhold, Collector's Legions, Crazy Nicks. They generally have very good prices. If you can find them, just take a look.
Yeah, if you need any product from Collector Legion, you can just go to collectorlegion.com, and then Spellhold has their own website.
Ooh,
And is that a Pernicious Deed?
that is a Pernicious Deed.
Pernicious Deed for 0?
Well, Eldrazi tokens.
Yeah, kill all the tokens.
I thought he'd want to get rid of the bauble as well, but I guess not.
I think Sunny's hand doesn't need to do that at the moment. He's in a controlling position to an extent with the double planeswalkers.
But it allows Eugene to potentially to pop it, draw a card. It's fine.
I don't know if really Sunny cares about that. I think really what really wants to do is try to protect his planeswalkers as much as possible.
Ah, that was the
And there's
combo.
another it that heralds the end, right?
Which is, if he hadn't popped the Pernicious Deed, they'd all have 1/2s and attacked and killed
And then
all
attacked.
the planeswalkers.
Yeah.
It was a good play. Now that Dot Not Seer is a 5/5, which is huge in today's Legacy format.
5/5s are not easy to deal with, for sure. Or Sunny might be playing some amount of Dismember, but I highly doubt it.
I feel like Dismember has just been power crept out personally. Just because of Psychic Frog, they can actually make it bigger very quickly. It's
Yeah.
just like a 5-mana
Yeah.
burn spell. Now, of course, the Reanimator or whoever the Frog player has to determine if they want to discard 4 cards, but it is what it is.
We're seeing an Uro here from Sunny, and he draws a Bayou and puts it into play.
But he gains the 3 life, which is the important bit.
Yeah, Sunny has crept back up from that 8 to 15 pretty slowly here over the last couple of turns. And is that a Gaia's Cradle?
Yes, because of the interaction with Kozilek's command.
Yeah, I mean, that's great.
You double the mana.
Honestly, I didn't know Eugene had a Cradle.
Okay, got it.
All right, looks like he is playing a Bauble, then cracking a Bauble.
Which is one of the reasons why Bauble is replacing Chalice of the Void in a lot of decks now in Legacy.
Or there are some that are playing both.
Okay. So swing for 7. Oh.
Bowmaster probably kills It Heralds, probably does 1 damage to It Heralds.
Block with the token.
And then block with the token. I imagine that's the play here. Oh, he's actually gonna ping him. He's gonna ping him. Okay.
He's worried about his life total, it appears. Which, at 14, I wouldn't be, but okay. Sonny's an excellent control player. He knows what he's doing. My concern is that Dak Faden or Tamio that's currently alive?
That looks like that's the Tamio.
Okay, got it.
It's like there's a discrepancy with how many counters are supposed to be on Tamio.
3, 5, plus 2 if it's going to go up. But I don't know if he did any damage to it. He had to get rid of the other card, Dak Faden, I believe. And it's the amazing changing loyalty of Tamio. Okay.
Yeah, I think Sonny was attempting to tick it up, and there was a discrepancy on how big Tamio was supposed to be or how many counters were on it.
At this point, Eugene has some concerns because if it hits its ultimate, I believe Tamio at that point essentially wins.
Yeah, I mean, it just draws half of Sonny's deck, and then Sonny no longer has a maximum hand size. So.
So, Eugene is on a clock.
We're seeing a lot of mana here from Eugene.
Oh,
and that looks like
Myco
a
Spawn.
Spawn? Is that what it is called?
Which is countered.
What is that?
I think it's the new card from MH3. Again, I'm not 100% certain, but it doesn't counter target.
Oh, is that the counter colorless spell?
I don't
know. He spent 2 mana to do it.
I don't
have no
believe
idea what
so.
that card is.
I believe you can pay additional mana to counter either a triggered ability or
colorless spell, yeah.
Or colorless spell, right. And because Myco Spawn has 2 triggers.
One's on cast, and then the other one is on...
the kicker.
Oh, so that's what he did. Okay. Interesting.
So I don't know the name of that card, but we'll find out very quickly.
I didn't know it was in his sideboard. That's kind of a crazy card to be in your sideboard.
I've seen 2 of them in a lot of control lists nowadays because it's essentially a stifle.
Yeah, it's a
stifle.
You counter target triggered ability,
right.
Not activated ability.
Triggered, but for instance, at Thassa's Oracle, a trigger is a trigger.
That's true.
And it counters not colorless spell, so it has use in other decks, against other decks.
Trinisphere, Chalice,
I'm saying One Ring, right.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it counters One Ring.
And unfortunately, it hits everything in Eugene's deck.
Yeah.
And given the proliferation of Eldrazi Stompy decks in Legacy, and I think it's coming up to one of the best aggro decks now, top 3, top 4.
The Eldrazi aggro deck?
Yes, it's went from not played because Eldrazi was just not powerful enough in Legacy to now being a top 3 aggro deck. I think the only things ahead of it are maybe Delver. I've heard Death and Taxes, but that's dropping. And Eldrazi Stompy. There used to be, of course, Goblin Stompy, but they're trying to adapt to Eldrazi Stompy at this point, from what I hear.
That makes sense. MH3 just gave us so much. Sorry about that, everybody. We're in game 2 here.
We are essentially going. Legacies underwent a soft rotation every time we have an Modern Horizons print, MH3, MH4. The Legacy formats just also rotate, including, to my knowledge, there are some serious changes in Vintage as well.
Oh, yeah. I haven't played Vintage in a really long time. I haven't kept up with the format at all.
That bobble is...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, the bubble will be insane.
Right. You cast it, and your opponents can no longer play their Moxes. It's essentially the turn 1 issue. Who wins the die roll? Which is... I'm not saying Vintage is a die roll format because there's a lot of interplay, but this is another card that's a 4 right now because it hasn't been restricted. That you just pop it in your deck.
Yeah, I wonder if that card will... Do you think it will be restricted in Vintage?
I think so, because if you win the die roll and you have Moxes, you play your Moxes, your opponents can't play any of theirs. Good game for some decks.
Interesting, okay.
And if you ever draw a second one, you just pop the first one after you cast it.
Yeah.
There's no reason why not to. It's a cantrip.
Yeah, cards egregious to play against. I was playing online, and of course, I've been on Mississippi River for the past couple of months.
Oh, don't remind me.
I was playing against a green-white depth player online a night or 2 ago, and he opened a hand with 3 bubble, It's just absolutely game over for me.
I don't know. Knowing
immediately.
you've been able to work your way out of those types of
Triple
situations.
bobble is so
You
hard to
beat
work
2 bobbles
through,
against
yeah.
me last week. Come
Oh
on.
yeah, okay. I have to get lucky with my like Besages and stuff, but yeah, triple bobble is really hard to deal with. He was playing 4 bobbles main deck.
He was
so.
lucky though. Triple bobbles is rare for
In the
any
opening
deck.
hand, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He went turn one hierarch, turn 2 triple bobble.
Now here's a great card, a Null Drifter.
Yeah, Null Drifter is coming in here. We saw Null Drifter come down hard casted, not evoked from Eugene last turn. That card just draws 2 on cast.
Yes, but as you can probably tell, there is an Orcish Bowmaster in there. So wouldn't that also cause him to get? Am I wrong? Shouldn't he have gotten 2 army? 2/2 army.
I think he probably did and eventually like blocked with it or something.
Okay, got it.
I think I imagine that he had them at some point in time, and during our conversation, it is now gone.
And then Sonny had to fatal push the line breaker in order to make sure that the Null Drifter didn't have haste coming into play, plus the +3 pump, plus the Annihilator trigger. Now that it's in
Annihilator
play,
1, right?
it's Annihilator 1, but that's still a serious clock. It's a 4/4 flying with Annihilator 1, which against a lot of decks, if he casts it early, they can't catch up. Just blows up your land, your creature, anything. You gotta sack something.
That's a lot of mana for Eugene. Eugene looks to be a little bit flooded here.
And this is one of the concerns we had with Eldrazi Stompy. You have incredibly fast
So that is 3,
first
4,
few
5,
turns,
6,
but you top deck
7,
mana.
8.
Oh, but he Eye of Ugin for another one.
Oh, got it. He's Eye of Uganing, and then it looks like he is
Casting another Annihilator.
casting
Sorry, Null Drifter.
the Null Drifter.
Draw another 2. Sonny gets 2 more cards. I'm sorry, Sonny gets 2/2.
Yeah, so there
Deals
it is.
2 damage, but at this point doesn't really kill anything other than that. Yeah,
That
hit the
heralds.
heralds.
Yeah, there it is.
So they're no longer 5/5s. Ha.
Drawing 2 cards for Eugene is actually pretty good. And it looks like he actually drew a Kozilek's command. If Eugene has the ability to untap, which he most likely will, that's going to be a hell of a lot of mana that he can just dump into that card.
He is getting rid of something in Eugene's graveyard. Is that a surgical? What is that?
I'm unsure. I don't know
Okay.
what that card is.
In any event, something has been removed from Eugene's graveyard.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that card is.
I'm assuming he removed the Kozilek's command given it's separated.
Okay, looks like he's swinging in here. He's going to gain 3,
Right,
draw a card,
right.
and then Eugene is just chump blocking here.
With the Michael spawn.
Got to fetch from Sunny.
Now, I'm not saying at this point the Uro is going to be able to race the 4/4, 2 4/4s with the 2 Annihilator triggers, but given the life totals, there is some possibility it could happen. Oh, no. Life from the Loam. He just sacrificed lands.
Yeah, Life from the Loam really does that. Oh,
Oh, no. And he has the...
There's the Frog and Life from the Loam combo we saw in last turn. Or last game, it definitely got Sunny out of where he needed to be.
Now, he can't use it right now because it no longer has green mana, but next turn... So I'm wondering if Eugene has something to search for with Eye of Ugin or has something to get rid of either the Uro or the Frog, because at this point, I see inevitability on Sunny's side.
Eugene is about to tap a heck of a lot of mana. Eugene is counting up his mana right now.
And he has a... Sorry, I always forget the Gaia's Cradle. So whatever he casts Kozilek's command for, he gets double the amount of mana.
Yep. So there is the Kozilek's command. Kozilek's command has... I didn't even count the amount of mana going into it. But he is exiling target creature with mana value X or less. So it looks like he's exiling the Uro and creating
6.
a billion
At least 6.
Eldrazi spawn.
Right. Which, if he wants, he can 11 Eldrazi spawn.
11.
And
So Eugene cast that for a total of 13 mana.
and Gaia's Cradle now for
Gaia's Cradle now taps
for
13.
Is he gonna cast? I don't know, Ulamog.
Okay, so yeah.
Oh, there we go. Ulamog. I called it.
Well, you got Ulamog.
Hey, he could have gotten Emrakul potentially for this amount of mana.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
And it's a cast trigger, remember everybody, which
Yeah.
means even if you counter the spell, you can't counter the actual effects on the stack.
He's exiling Frog and one other card he's still choosing.
I don't think
Wow.
it's much of a choice. Only 2 permanents on the side of Sunny's hand at this. I mean, side of the board at this point. Oh, is that it? Oh,
Did he hit a land? No, I didn't see him. Oh, there we go.
there you go.
He's
Yeah,
choosing the Bowmaster. Okay, he was still choosing. All right. All right. Well, that game, this game
That
turned around
flipped.
very, very fast.
With the Annihilator trigger, down to 5 permanents on Sunny's side.
Sunny is sacking the 2 lands and taking 8.
We might see a game 3. And that's the frightening thing that Eye of Ugin, which is why it's a $50 to $70 card. It's a tutor.
All right, we are getting Life from the Loam back here.
I don't.
I cannot imagine that Sunny has anything to do in this spot.
That's fine. That's fine. That was a good example of how Stryfopal can just keep on kicking no matter how much aggro is on the other side, and how Eldrazi Stompy can just close the game with a Eye of Ugin search.
Yeah, it was a really interactive game, and there was a lot of actual back and forth there. That top deck Kozilek's command from Eugene, though, that really, really solidified the win for him.
So in any event, we were talking about how all the other Stompy decks, including Goblin Stompy, have to try to work around Eldrazi Stompy, because it appears to be the superior Stompy deck, apparently at this point, without some changes to Goblin Stompy. A lot of players who are playing Goblin Stompy are taking out those chalices and putting in those baubles.
I
Because,
haven't even seen goblins around at all.
to be fair, all the Goblin players at our store became Eldrazi Stompy players at our store.
Well, goblins kind of became slightly unplayable when
oh yeah.
Namesticker Goblin became unplayable in the format.
But remember, they also then, they immediately substituted in for the One Rings, and they were still able to maintain some type of consistency and competitiveness.
They were playing both, I think, at the same time. They were playing Goblin and One Ring.
Mm-hmm. Which is why Turbo Goblins no longer a thing. But Eldrazi Stompy was still putting up fairly good numbers for a while.
Has Goblin seen any play now? Or are we still seeing like Vile Goblins around at all? Or
I haven't seen it, but
yeah, I haven't seen it either.
I know you don't like this particular YouTuber, but Phil from Thraben,
It's not that I don't like him. It's fine.
he went 5-0 on the new Goblin Stompy lists.
Oh, okay.
Using baubles.
Okay.
He didn't.
Oh, using baubles? I mean,
He didn't play
baubles just
chalices. Yeah, yeah. And he appears to be using those disruptor flutes as well, because Stompy decks can always cast it on turn 1
yes.
at instant speed if you want to just keep the mana up.
I think this is the 3rd game in a row that we've seen Vexing Bubble from Eugene on turn 1.
I think he's playing more than one.
Well, yeah, it's got to be 4 on the main deck,
kidding,
of course.
I'm kidding.
I
But-
imagine he's playing more than one with seeing that many.
I honestly, I used to be a Death and Taxes player exclusively.
Yes.
But the Bauble doesn't have any synergy with Dahlia, and you have to pick one.
No, yeah, it's actually bad for you with Dahlia because it forces your opponent to pay the 1, which means they can cast their 3 spells.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I have not seen Death and Taxes use Baubles, because
I
Dahlia's
don't
is
think
your
I
other
can.
choice.
Yeah. I have seen it use the 2-drop Pithing Needle,
Yes.
the flute, right? They use that card.
I know it's twice as much mana as Pithy Needle, but Disruptor Flute,
Disruptor Flute, that's what it's called.
it's essentially potentially main deck combo hate. It's
Easily.
at instant speed. It means you can respond if you have any mana open. And I know the turn one is an issue, But if you decide to turn 2, it's main deckable. It's easily main deckable in many decks.
I've had opponents played like I'll play a Throes of Chaos or a Violent Outburst, and in response they'll flash that in and name Tybalt's Trickery.
Are you talking about me?
Did you do that to me?
I remember you won that game, but you still...
Oh, I don't remember. But I've had multiple players do it to me. Yeah, for sure. Or
that's what
creative
happened.
technique or something like that. They play something in response to my combo.
Right. I remember you and I had a turn 1 bobble. You Tybalt's Trickery, but you got the Emrakul, which can't be countered.
Yes. I was playing against the other... Oh, that was it. When I was playing against the triple bobble player, I still had to cast a creative technique.
Right.
And then I get my copy.
Right.
When I demonstrate, the copy's not cast, so I get that copy. And neither of them hit the Emrakul, so I lost that game. But that's the only out in that situation for me is casting Emrakul.
Just my luck.
Counters it, and Emrakul is uncounterable.
Just my luck. You got it against me when I had a 2020... Yeah, I had a 2020 Merit Lage token ready to attack next turn. I'm saying your deck, Waterfalls, is actually pretty resistant to a lot of hate.
It can be, yeah. I was super, super afraid of Vexing Bubble when it first got printed. But the deck has proved to be like moderately okay in the face of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually been even thinking of playing a Bane of Progress in the sideboard.
Oh, I see.
Just to get rid of that card.
So what do you think here? Eldrazi Linebreakers, they're now essentially both 5/3s.
I mean,
with haste
we
and
just saw
trample.
Sunny's life total
Get demolished,
Just-
10 damage
drop astronomically.
on turn 3?
Yeah, Sunny looks like he's flashing at a bowman, but he took the damage there. They don't. Linebreakers don't have trample.
They have
right?
trample.
Oh, they do have trample. Okay, so
They give haste,
the 1/1s don't even matter.
but they can give a creature trample.
Oh no, they do have trample. Sorry, they give a creature haste, but
Right.
they just naturally have trample.
And
Wow.
because of the pump, it says there are 5/3s on the board right now.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember when Reality Smasher used to be a good card? In comparison, this is...
I was gonna say no. When was it ever a good card? But no, Eldrazi. Yeah, Smasher was definitely a great card for a time. But yeah, this card just seems better in almost every way.
Right. But it costs 1 red.
Yeah, I mean, you could play you play Cavern.
You can play Cavern, right?
You could play Cavern. Eugene's playing Lotus Petals. So
Which is why Eldrazi Stompy is typically splashing both green for Mycosynth and red for the Linebreaker, which makes their mana a little wonky, but given how many Kindred lands there are, it's still consistent.
yeah, this Eldrazi deck has seemed to be. Well, I mean, you said it earlier. It's definitely probably one of the best Stompy decks in the format right now. And seeing the power of it on board right now, I can definitely see why it can be incredibly explosive.
Sonny's still reading the card.
Yeah.
He doesn't know
I
how
mean, I'm probably gonna have to read MH3 cards for like 2 or 3 months.
he didn't know how he lost 14 life in 2 turns.
Yeah, I'm not. You can see Sonny sitting here shaking his head, going, "How do I get out of this?" He's gonna play a Dak Vaden.
Oh, he
He
can't kill one at this point.
No. Well, it depends on what he draws, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. So he can draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Or he's
Or
gonna make
He's going to make Eugene draw 2, but he can't
discard
kill
2.
a Linebreaker because it deals 2 damage, not 3.
Right. Maybe he's trying to figure out how to
But it makes
figure out.
the army token a 3/3, so now it can block at least. But 2 damage is still going through. 3 life. He needs to find a fatal... Well, Sonny needed to, in my opinion, do the search himself to try to find a fatal push or something to reduce this.
Yeah, but Sonny didn't have a fetch land, so he couldn't even fatal push it without he needed a fetch land to do so.
Good point.
So it looks like Sonny's just passing turn here.
And Eugene got to essentially shuffle through his deck very quickly because of the Dak Vaden.
Looks like 1,
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Mycosynth.
and a Mycosynth probably kicked. Okay, so that is
The counterspell,
counter the colorless spell.
Well, technically, but then the trigger happens.
Right. So he gets to search for a land, and the other one is ETB destroy land, right?
Yes.
So he still gets to search for a land, but because it's getting countered. Oh, actually, it can't get countered, right?
Oh.
Because of Cavern.
You're right. But then he was trying to counter the actual trigger ability to the
Oh,
best
so
of
that's
my
what he was
knowledge.
trying to do. He's trying to counter the triggered ability.
But with 3 life, there was no way.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That was a great show of
Interesting.
how powerful and fast Eldrazi Stompy
I'm
can
actually
be.
really happy that I saw this game because now about 10 minutes ago, I said I was uninterested in Eldrazi.
Right.
Now I'm not.
Sorry for the laughter, but
yeah, I'm.
it's a lot of myriad. It's a myriad of triggers. Some cards give you haste, plus plus X plus 0. Other cards search a land for you, destroy it, or exile actually your opponent's land. There's a lot of interactivity with Eldrazi Stompy that unfortunately Goblin Stompy just doesn't have. Because for some reason Eldrazi have more powers than goblins. I don't know why.
Eldrazi makes so much mana so quickly. It almost feels like you're kind of playing a post game,
Yes.
like a 12 post game, a little bit.
You can, which is how
With how much
Ulamog.
mana we saw Eugene have on field last game.
Yes, and Eugene actually started off a little slow with hate pieces, but he still got a turn 2 Thought Knot, turn 3 Thought Knot, which in the old Legacy format was almost game over, but I guess not in this format.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If Sunny seems to be a little light on interaction, or at least it seemed to be, especially because Eugene started out on Cavern.
Right.
So if Sunny found a wasteland at any point in time there, the game probably would have been
I'm not
much different.
sure about that because he also had a bauble.
True.
Honestly, Eldrazi Stompy has 8 ways.
At the very least, he could have countered it with the counter color spell, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Eldrazi Stompy has 8 ways to get rid of Force of Will, and I kind of feel Force of Will is it's getting weaker and weaker in Legacy because of so many things that cannot be countered.
That's a weird phrase to say. Force of Will is getting weaker in Legacy, huh?
Because every card is a must counter nowadays,
Yeah,
it
that's
feels
true.
like.
Yeah.
Even your basic 3/3 trample haste that pumps gets pumped by every other card. It was a must counter in that game on game 3 on turn
Right.
2.
Right.
Because by itself it did 10 damage or 9 damage.
Right.
Its brother in arms did 5 damage by itself.
Ugh. All right. We are going to take another short break here. We're going to wait around for round 3, everybody. Stick around. Once again, we are at Spellhold Games down here in Southern California. Sponsored by Spellhold Games and Collector Legion. Check out CollectorLegion.com and SpellholdGames.com for all your Magic and other TCG needs.
And
We'll be
Crazy
back.
Nick nowadays, too.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know if their website's up.
Their website's up.
Oh, their
I bought many
website is
cards
up.
there.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Well, check out Crazy Nick's website as well, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with round 3.
Do you want a drink? Because I'm dying.
And welcome back to Tuesday Night Legacy, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Once again, my name is Alex. I'm here with my co-host, William. We're going into round 3. We've got Michael on the left playing a deck he has deemed Esper Bowmasters. I've written Bowman because Bowmasters number 1 is too long. Plus, I usually call him Bowman anyways. We
fair.
got Ben on the right. He's actually been on this deck for a little while. It's Manabond Lands. Normal lands style strategy with Manabond.
Essentially, with Field of the Dead, allows a potential turn 1, I don't know, 7 zombies if he gets everything correct. Maybe 6 zombies.
Possibly turn 2 because you would need 7 lands plus Manabond. So that'd
Good
be-
point.
I guess it would be
Yes.
turn 1 if he's on the play, right?
Right.
Or on
right,
the draw.
On the draw. It's essentially lands, but with a potential explosive start, and it was doing quite well about a year ago until people figured out how to play around it.
This is another deck lands that I do not like playing against. I actually played against Ben over the weekend.
Okay.
Cast Creative Technique, demonstrated it, and flipped him into a Sphere of Resistance. And
Right.
I cried.
Because, of course, he's playing 4 of them main.
Yeah. So we see a fetch land from Michael here, getting a Tundra.
I'm assuming he's hoping Ben does not have a wasteland strategy going on turn 1.
Yeah, that's another thing that I can't deal with lands is Wasteland Life of
Current
Loam.
wastelands every turn of the game.
Yep, that is almost impossible for Mississippi River to deal with. So
But Mississippi River can go off turn 2, turn 3, so it's not like the window of vulnerability is that big.
no, but when a deck can go turn
Yavin
1,
Maya, is that a
that's a Yabi Maya
exploration
into an
or-
exploration.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not the mana bond. Okay.
No, not Manabond yet. Not yet. We're seeing a Force
Force
of
of
Will
Will.
pitching to Fairy here.
I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah, knowing Michael's a very competent player, knowing how explosive an exploration start can be.
He used to be a show and tell player exclusively.
Oh, a
but-
long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
But ever since Family, he's come out a little less, but doesn't mean he's not just as good. But sadly, he has retired his ninja deck.
Yeah, he's been on Ninjas for the last couple of weeks trying to play something a little cutesy, but I think he's realized that it doesn't quite work.
He's ended up hating ninjas because it does not work well against bowmasters.
It's very correct. Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard to play a Kindred or Typal deck in Legacy with Bowmasters being everywhere.
All right, now a 1/2. Does he have a way to get rid of this? Or is he just going to Maze of Ith it for the rest of the game? Who knows? Let's see.
Looks like he's playing a Crop Rotation. Crop Rotation is going and getting...
What do you think? Tabernacle or...
That is a Wasteland.
I see. Well, we were concerned, but it appears Ben feels like he just wants to mana deprive Michael. Oh,
And
no.
there's a mana bond.
bond.
There's the mana bond. Yeah, so if Ben can just dump his entire hand here, especially if he's got a Life from the Loam in his hand right now,
Yes.
he can just start taking Michael off of blue mana. There's a Sphere of Resistance. So he's dumping the Sphere of Resistance to get a...
Urza
that looks like
Saga.
a Caracas,
and a
an
Maze
Urza
of
Saga,
Ith.
and a Maze of Ith.
It's an exceptionally good hand, but he doesn't have a Life from the Loam to the best of my knowledge.
No, but Urza Saga by itself can be quite a win condition.
True.
So Michael did find another blue source in that polluted Delta fetch land.
Michael, I'm sure, has the basics. If he knew what he was playing against, I'm sure he would have searched for a basic turn 1.
Right.
So now it's top deck city for Ben until he gets his Life from the Loam. And, of course, he's going to slowly ratchet up that Urza Saga.
Yeah, Ben is playing something around 36, 38 lands or something like that. So
Which means he won't see his 4th land until turn 7. Just kidding.
well, he's already got 5 lands in play, so Michael's doing a little bit of thinking here, figuring out what he wants to do.
Blue and
He's gonna
white?
double fetch here.
I wonder.
Maybe Tundra Delta or Tundra C, I mean.
He'll need a double
Looks
blue.
like he's looking. Oh, maybe
potentially.
basic to play around the wasteland. I guess that
Right.
makes sense.
I'm just wondering if he's going to get a plains or not.
I don't know if he plays any.
If he's Esper, he might do the one of. I'm not sure. Let's see. It's still on the stack. Oh,
Okay, there's
a
the
plains.
Okay, so there is a plains.
And he's a fan of the full art.
I cannot remember the name of the land that they're having a discussion about. It's from MH3, I believe.
What is it?
I don't remember what it's called, but I think its last ability is pay for and put it into play.
Urza's Cave.
Urza's Cave.
Unless it's the one that does the phasing.
Oh, it might be that one. It might be that one.
Because with the phasing land, I don't know the name of it either.
Okay, so it's not Urza's Cave.
Okay. It has exceptionally great combos with Uro, for instance.
Oh, yes, that
And
makes sense.
It protects your Merit Lage because it phases out, which means it doesn't actually die. It can protect it and it'll come back in the next turn.
I don't know. There's too many lands in MH3. I was trying to look it up. It's okay.
Essentially, a lot of people are really enjoying it in order to protect their creatures, to bounce out a blocker, or protect their Merit Lages.
That definitely makes sense, yeah.
Because phasing does not kill tokens.
Correct. Phasing definitely does not do that. We see 2 Urza's tokens for Ben here.
And a search.
Now, but I believe Ben's targets for Urza's Saga are a one of exploration map.
Expedition map.
Expedition, thank you. Expedition map. And a one of Bauble. Now, over the weekend, as he and I played, he was talking about playing more than one Bauble. So there's a possibility that he is on more than one today.
I think I see a Pity Needle in there, but I might be wrong. There's
the map.
There's the map. That's what he's getting.
Looks like he's thinking about it.
No, maybe not. Yep.
Cool. All right, so he's getting the map.
And Michael, instead of getting that basic plains, he got another Tundra. So apparently he needs some requirement for double blue. All right.
Still trying to look for that land. I just cannot find it.
Now, despite the fact Ben is playing lands, he only has 2 mana producing lands at this time. I don't know if he's going to just discard his hand, put in another 3. I don't actually know what he drew, but they don't look like they're all lands. Oh, and Michael got his miracle trigger. Saint Catherine is now on board. 5/5 lifelinker that essentially never dies.
That might be pretty hard for Ben to deal with.
He has 2 2s.
He does have a
3 3s.
a Mazavith on field,
But he has 4 4s.
it's okay. So there's the Bauble. He probably had it in hand, which is why he didn't search for it with Saga.
Right, but there's also a Snapcaster Mage as well. Did I miss? I somehow missed that, I think.
Oh yeah, that was a couple of turns ago. I think he Snapcastered into Ponder.
Okay, great. And he's countering.
Looks like he's going to be countering the Bauble or attempting to counter the Bauble.
Like I was saying, despite the fact Ben is playing lands, he only has 2 mana producing lands at this time.
So Ben can pay for this Spell Pierce by tapping the Mazavith and the Yavimaya, but that means that he
True.
has to tap his Mazavith.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Yep.
Okay, so
Another
he's crop rotationing away the Caracas in
Right.
response to the Spell Pierce.
and it looks like Michael has one card in hand.
So Vexing Bubble is still in the stack. On top of that is a Spell Pierce. On top of that is a crop rotation, which is resolved.
And I'm sorry, Ben has 3 mana producing lands. I didn't see the.
Yavimaya.
Thank you very much. Oh, can't
Yeah.
remember card names
That's
today.
okay. Magic has 15, 16,000 different unique cards.
And I knew most of them for a
It's-
while, but not anymore.
It is very hard to keep track of that many cards. Okay, so it looks like he's gone and searched out a Thespian stage and has simply let the Spell Pierce resolve. He figured, I need to keep this Maze of Ith up. I can't let this Triumph of St. Catherine start swinging in.
So again, his tokens are 3/3s right now, and if he doesn't use the maze, he can search for his Dark Depths next turn. I'm not sure if he wants to take the hit or not, but it could be reasonable.
Ben's at a pretty healthy 20 life. So maybe you're right. Maybe he kept up the 2 mana instead of the Maze of Ith. He kept it up for the Expedition map, which is probably correct.
Nope,
Oh,
he's
okay. He's
using the
actually
maze.
using it on the Triumph.
And honestly, I don't know how many cards Michael has to discard. 2, it appears. So he may trade. No, sorry. So maybe the 3/4 if he doesn't double block it. All right, he takes the 1/2. Wow, frogs, even though they're just 1/2s, never blocked, ever blocked.
They're so scary.
I know.
There's so many different things you can do, and then he draws a Brainstorm off of it.
And I'm more interested in the Swords to
And he has
Plowshares.
a Swords as well, which is going to do a lot of work against these Urza Saga tokens.
I don't know if he wants to keep the Force of Will.
Looks like he's keeping Frog, Land, Swords.
And then he can always search for his basic in case there's a wasteland. Oh, yep. All right. And Ben has another. Did we ever find out what the name of that phasing land is?
Nope.
Okay.
Never found it.
Is it a Talon Gates or something?
Is that what it is? I think that sounds correct. Yes, Talon Gates.
Oh, okay. See, my brain is still good sometimes.
Talon Gates of Madara. It is also not from MH3. I was incorrect.
Isn't that the commander?
Yeah, it's from...
MH3 commander.
Oh, it's from the
set.
MH3 Commander set.
Yes.
Got it, yes. So that is the land.
So you were correct.
I was correct. It was just from the Commander set.
You're incorrect about being correct. Or incorrect about being incorrect. All right. So...
Wait, is that... Hold on. That
Oh.
is the land that I was talking about, but I don't think that's the one he's just played. That is not that land.
What is he playing?
I don't know what this
I'm gonna
land
go
is
find
now.
out. I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Just very curious. Horizon of Progress. So chat has apparently started working. Hello, everybody in chat. I don't know. You're saying that the stream was well, I just got your text, so thank you. Apparently the stream wasn't working before. Is that true? Have we been streaming for 3 rounds and the stream wasn't working?
Horizon of Progress.
So we've got people in chat now.
Yes, finally. Amen.
Yes, we've got people in chat telling us that it was Horizon of Progress. And that is indeed the land that Ben has played. Now I'm really curious. Once again, have we been streaming for 3 rounds and the stream wasn't working?
Oh my gosh, that would...
I don't know.
No,
I thought it was fine, but he says, Andrew says the stream may have not been.
Eugene said that he was actually watching us on YouTube.
Oh.
So I don't know what's going on.
He said I fixed the stream he said that was when he first turned on the stream 2 hours ago.
Okay.
Well, that's
all
really
right.
weird because there has not been chat until just now.
Unfortunately. Maybe they
So
were not
chat wasn't
talking.
working for some strange reason. No, Andrew was saying that it wasn't working. Yes, that's it. Andrew was saying that it wasn't working because, remember I told you that at the beginning of the stream I forgot to hit the right button?
I vaguely remember that, yes.
Yeah. So anyways.
All right. Horizon of Progress. Pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. For 3 mana and tap, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Oh, so it's acceleration. Sacrifice, draw a card.
So it's any of the Horizon lands.
It's essentially, I think it's a better Horizon land. Because the middle ability, put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, accelerates lands pretty well.
Yeah, but you have to have other lands on the battlefield for it to work. Because add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce.
I
So
don't
you have to
think
have other lands on
Ben
the
is
field.
going to have issues with that.
No, of course not. But you're saying it's a better Horizon land. It's just got a
That's
small
true.
stipulation in that way. Anyways, so Ben is at 39 life.
So I missed the
As
Swords
we
to
got
Plowshares.
we got distracted with chat, and apparently chat wasn't working for us. So that's why we haven't been interacting with all of you.
Thank you, Andrew.
I very sorry about that, everybody.
So is this a Life from the Loam situation? What's going on?
Yeah, it looks like he's Life from the Loaming back. Dark Depths, Horizon of Progress, and one more land. I did not see what it was.
Okay.
It's probably...
My concern is now with the mana bond, he now has
that's Thespian Stage?
he now potentially has infinite Dark Depths.
Yes. So it looks like he's got Thespian Stage, Dark Depths. He's got that on field. Now, Michael does have a couple of blockers in Frogs. For some reason, that card can get flying.
Yes.
It still doesn't make any sense to me. It feels like a flavor fail. Andrew in
Really?
chat might disagree with me.
I
Yeah, it doesn't
feel
make
like-
any sense. I feel like it should have reach with its tongue. Like,
But it can hop. It can hop 20,000 feet into the air.
I guess. I know Frog is a powerful card, but I don't feel like... I don't know.
Well, at this point, I feel Michael is drawing 3 cards a turn. This Dark Depths is again gone.
So he has...
Is
he's put a
that
graded Pokemon card into play representing the
It
2020
is
Dark.
Now,
Now,
six,
He has gained
59
29 life and has
59
gone up to
life.
59.
And
Or he has gained 20 life and gone up to 59.
now Michael draws 2 cards. Somehow, I'm not sure who's going to win.
This is still game 1. This is...
Yes, Lanz is very good at drawing a 20-minute game 1. Sorry, playing out a 20-minute game 1. Now, Michael has forces, so he can probably counter the next Life from the Loam. But I don't know if Michael can do anything with the tempo advantage, because it's a 59 life on Ben's side.
Yeah, if Michael can't find a way to deal with the life in the loam, Ben can effectively just get a Dark Depths,
Yes,
a
every
Merit
turn.
Lage every turn.
Right. But for at least for this turn, Michael probably can counter, based on Force of Will, the Light from the Loam, allowing him to get another 2 cards and 5 life. So he'll probably survive a life swing, but again, Maze of Ith, of course.
Yeah, Ben seems like in a pretty controlling position at this point, especially being at almost 60 life.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Ben is empty-handed, has almost nothing in field.
His graveyard is his hand, however.
His graveyard is basically his hand right now, yeah.
But if Michael can get another land in play, or just cast Force of Will on the Life from the Loam, he'll get another 2 to 4 cards. He can start discarding, get those frogs into, 20, 21 range. Just kidding. But it's possible.
I mean, I guess frogs can get that big. Eventually, I suppose they could.
That is his win condition and survival technique at this point. Or he finds a wasteland.
There's the 3 back. He's
Yep.
just going to continue to get the 3 back.
Is he gonna? He's not.
I think he's just showing his graveyard at this
Okay.
point in time. He's just like, here, this is what's in my yard. Those are going to be all entirely irrelevant.
lands versus everything else.
Yeah, I think that's basically why Ben has separated out his graveyard there
Mm-hmm.
to relevant cards and irrelevant cards.
He better shuffle for game 2, otherwise there's going to be a lot of clumping.
I thought you were gonna say there's gonna be a lot of lands together. I said, yeah, it's half his deck,
Yeah.
more than half his deck. Says fetch from Michael, going and getting a scrub land.
I'm sorry. Is that a cricket inside the facility?
Yeah, it might be right outside.
Mm.
I'm not sure.
Oh! Teferi, a potential bounce. Not saying that this is going to win it for him, but it's a nice piece to have if you're trying to find something to stop those tokens.
I mean, just Ben just plays out its lands and then waits for Michael to pass turn and
Oh,
then
no.
makes a 20/20.
I'm thinking he might. I was thinking he might bounce
Yeah, you're
the.
right. There is a Pithing Needle in the main deck.
I was thinking he might bounce the mana bond,
Oh,
and
bounce
counter it
mana
on the way
bond, sure.
back.
Yeah, I could do that.
But he needs to counter this Life from the Loam if he wants.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, he can. He has Force and extra blue card in hand to do that.
Right. So he's targeting the lands. Let's see if Michael counters.
Cool. So he's getting Vajukabog, Dark Depths, Thespian Stage. And here comes the counterspell, just like you called it. Pitching Frog.
All right, that's just a one-turn answer, but it's a good one. You know, the horrible thing is, actually, I'm just actually curious. If you have only that new land in play, can it still produce any mana?
No, because a land you need another land because it's contingent on having another land that can produce mana in play.
So if he blows up the Yavin Maya, there's no green mana sources on Ben's side.
Correct.
Oh, I didn't see that line. Okay, that's kind of risky for Ben.
That sounds correct. I could be. I'm almost positive that that's correct. I suppose I should look at the rulings of Horizon of Progress just to see.
As I don't see any rulings on it.
Looks like there are no rulings on Horizon of Progress, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it works.
And is that a wasteland?
That is a wasteland.
But is he targeting the Horizon or is he talking to Yavin Maya? Because this could be a potential. Okay.
Well, see, that's the thing about this too is he can just Life from the Loam back any Yavi Maya and stuff that he may want.
But he won't have the green mana to get the Life from the
Oh yeah, you're right.
But there was a crop rotation, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But there is a loss of land.
Yes, Horizon Progress is, so there are actual rulings. Horizon of Progress's first ability checks the effects of all mana-producing abilities of lands you control, but it doesn't check their costs or legality. For example, Spire of Industry says, use an energy, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, activate only if you control an artifact. If you control Spire of Industry and Horizon of Progress first ability can generate any color of mana. It doesn't matter whether you control an artifact or whether Spire of Industry is untapped. So he does need another land in play, but it looks like Michael actually took the
Maze of Ith.
The Maze of Ith. Yeah. So not taking that green source is actually pretty relevant here. We'll have to talk to them after the match. See why he decided to take that line.
Oh, it can also add colorless for Eldrazi fans. Okay, that's interesting. It's any type, not just color.
Correct. No, I don't think so, Andrew. I think because both Horizon lands are contingent off of the other lands in play making a color.
actually making the color.
So therefore, 2 Horizons of Progress also cannot tap for mana. Because neither can make a colored mana source on their own.
I'm not saying it was a winner, make or break. I'm just saying that if he had targeted the Yavimaya, he might have been able to stop Ben from drawing. If he didn't draw another colored source for a few turns, it could have flipped the board a little bit. But as of this point, again, he still has 2 Maze of Its now. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there.
It looks like they're maybe in hand.
Oh, so he's aware of a second Maze of It. Okay. But Exploration is gone, right?
Mana Bond. Yeah,
Mana
Mana
Bond
Bond is gone.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I was looking up. That's actually a really pivotal thing that we missed, and I'm very sorry to the players and to chat that we missed that.
I apologize.
I was looking up rulings on Horizon of Progress.
He's thinking.
Michael is really thinking about what to wasteland
I think he's trying
here.
to figure out that the Yavin Maya might stop the Horizon land from producing mana. If he wants to call a judge, it would be a reasonable option. Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like he's taking the Maze of Ith, which just allows Ben to continuously cycle the life from the Loams.
At this point, I see a Murktide in his hand. He's probably going to cast it. Now, remember, Michael's drawing 3 cards a turn. Ben is doing lands things, but I'm unsure if he's going to be able to just get rid of that green-colored source, because, like you said, he can just cast it, get the lands back, but without Mana Bond, he's stuck to 1 land a turn, and that's not good enough in this board, apparently.
Yeah, if Ben draws another Mana Bond, it should be okay. But here's a big, heavy beater coming down here. I'm assuming he's going to be paying full value for this Murktide.
Or not.
And he's just thinking about what to take.
I hesitate to say this, but whoever wins game 1 is probably going to win the match at this point at 20 minutes.
Yeah, quite possibly.
That's the one issue I have with lands, is that if they don't, for instance, win fast with Mana Bond, if they don't win game 1, I don't know how fast, unless they do a Mana Bond turn, they can win game 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's thinking about here.
4.
I guess he does play Snapcaster Mage.
5.
So he's actually not even paying full value here. He's just doing 4.
And some lands, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it looked like 1 wasteland that he took instead of the full value.
So 7/7. Honestly, given his 43
What's
life,
the reason for that? Is there a reason to do that instead of just like leaving the wasteland in the graveyard and taking another spell?
he may have a Snapcaster, or he assumes he wants to get another
Yeah,
Snapcaster.
looks like Life from the Loam might be resolving here.
I didn't see. Oh,
It looks like probably a Bowmaster is coming into play in response here.
not sure how that matters, but okay, sure. That sounds great.
Yeah, Ben is still at a very healthy
43.
43 life.
But Michael can survive an Merit Lage hit as well.
Yes, he can, off of the life gained from Triumph of St. Catherine.
And Ben got a Bojoku Bog, but I'm concerned if he does play that.
If Ben plays Bajuka Bog,
That Murktide
Murktide grows exponentially.
Right. So, I'm not sure he wants to do that, but he did get that land back. And at this point, I honestly feel Pendrell Tabernacle might have been a good choice to have gotten in the past, because
I don't think Ben owns a Tabernacle.
we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is something we talked about over the weekend. He's actually getting one. Oh no, someone. Sorry. I don't think he owns a Tabernacle. He might. I don't know though.
Okay.
Tabernacle is not even that good on this board though, because Michael has so many lands he can just pay for all his creatures.
True. We put Michael down, but I guess drawing 3 cards a turn for 4 turns is a good way to reach some type of deadlock.
A huge tempo swing for sure.
Which one? The Murktide.
Yeah, of course, the biggest beater on the board.
But now Michael's gaining life, so he might be able
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He's not going to pump the froggies. But he draws an additional 2.
Now, is Michael forgetting to gain life here?
He is. Should I remind him?
Yes, I think we should go and do that and make sure he's gaining the life.
All right.
William will be right back and make sure that Michael is going to be gaining that 5 life. It could be quite relevant. Great, looks like they got it there. Cool. Michael is almost as much life as Ben is now. This game is turned around.
The mana bond was eliminated by a Teferi bounce and a Thoughtseize.
Ah, got it. Okay. So I have just been informed that Mana Bond was got
Eliminated, removed from the game
by
state.
being
Graveyard.
bounced by a Teferi and then being Thoughtseized out of Ben's hand.
At this point, they're nearly equal in life totals, and Ben still has 3 lands in play. I'm not going to say who wins, but I'm going to put my money on Michael at this point.
Yeah, getting rid of that Mana Bond was absolutely massive.
In all honesty, I think the frogs won Michael the game.
Frogs have drawn Michael so many cards. So many cards.
Get your playset of frogs today.
I mean, we've seen Frog in every round today.
Every round today, and they have not underperformed in anything.
No,
As long
Frog
as-
has just been so good in every time we've seen him on board.
Right. And it makes combat math just crazy.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about combat math. Usually I go, oh, math is for blockers. Well, you usually do have to be that person. Yep. I'm going to have to block against
And
these
the
stupid
spell
things. How many
pierce
cards do you have in hand? How
again.
many cards are you going to pitch? Oh, that they also can grow Murktide because I can exile my graveyard to give it flying.
At instant speed.
Ugh. So many different things to think about.
And the Dax Faden interaction was disgusting.
Michael's even got another Swords to Plowshares in
Life
hand.
from the Loam
so
was better. Yeah.
if Ben ever gets that Merit Lage out, it's not going to really matter much.
Oh, there we go.
And there is a miracled Triumph
Saint-
of St. Catherine.
Right. Which is not legendary for some reason. I remember when Triumph was considered an amazing card that won a Legacy tournament. Actually, less than a year ago, I believe in 2023.
Yeah, we don't see much play. With Scaminator having taken over the format almost entirely, we don't see that many Beans players, and that's where Triumph shined in the 4-color Beans decks. And then people really realized, I think, that Bug Beans was just the better version of the deck to play. So they cut white, and that's why we
Right.
haven't seen Katie.
Although Katie has been sometimes found in Scaminator sideboards.
That is true. Yeah, some players have definitely splashed white in their Scaminator decks for like cards like
swords.
Serenity, Swords, or Triumph St. Catherine in their sideboards, and I think that's hilarious.
I think that's just the format, just variations of Scaminator.
I mean, that's very true. I think, yeah, the other day I was playing a league on Moto, and I played 4 out of my 5 matches was against Scaminator. I went 3-2 in the league, having lost to Scaminator twice. I beat Scaminator twice, and then the one deck that wasn't Scaminator that I also beat was, I think, 4-color beans or something like that. Not playing Triumph St. Catherine, but the fact that I just saw 4 out of 5 decks being Scaminator was ridiculous.
Now, Michael has a Force of Will in his hand. So that Life from the Loam is also not doing anything.
Yeah, Life from the Loam's not resolving. Life from the Loam's not resolving anytime soon, and even if it did and he got back the things he needed, he's also got a Swords of Plowshares.
But there's 2 Maze of Its now. So that's going to dramatically slow down the aggro potential. But he has 2 St. Catharines, a dragon, and at any time he could just discard 5 cards to a frog to make it another beater at this point. And
Michael's deck doesn't look very large.
honestly, I'm not
And I
sure.
think did he fetch and missed, or did he hit that Underground Sea?
I'm not sure why he's getting more lands. He has enough that, honestly. And
Oh, is he hard casting a Force of Will?
he has the mana
He's
for
hard
it.
casting a Force of Will. Okay.
My concern is I don't know who's going to deck out first. because of
It'll probably. Michael honestly has drawn so many cards from Frog that that Ben milling 3 cards a turn doesn't seem to matter.
it's going to be a race, in my humble opinion.
With Michael having
That dragon's going to get large. Bach is in play.
Is he playing Bog?
He is.
He's just hoping that he can continue to Mazavith the dragon down, I guess.
I'm hoping this dragon is bigger than 2020. I'm kidding, but
Yeah, I don't know how many cards it's going to be. That's a lot. Oh, Lord.
It's a.
That is an arbitrarily large. That's maybe the largest Murktide I've ever seen.
I have it at 1818, which I don't even know if it's accurate.
Yeah, I don't know how many instances of sorceries Michael had in his graveyard, but that's a big boy.
Pump it up 3 more.
Yeah.
Make it a 21, 20, 21, and then don't care about Merit Lage ever again.
Pump up the Murktide. Pump it up.
You know, he can. Those frogs at any time. But he has another Force of Will.
Big swing coming in from Michael here. So he's Mazavithing the Dragon, the Murktide Regent, and a Triumph of St. Catherine. But that still means that there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of damage coming through.
Discard that land. Just discard it.
And at any point in time, Michael can just choose to grow these frogs.
He has 5 cards in hand, and he's figuring out which ones he's going to discard right now.
If you hear that chirping in the background, everybody, I'm very sorry. We apparently have a little friend in the studio here.
So it's in the studio, yes.
Yeah, somewhere very close, either in the studio or right outside of it.
So it's
Either way.
now 33 to 18.
This has been a very large turnaround, thanks to that Thoughtseize.
At this point, Michael should never ever get another, fetch another land. It's all for discard.
Yeah, it's all for discard for frogs for sure. But Ben is getting very, very close to being dead here.
And we have 10 minutes left in the round, and I don't know how fast he's going to be able to play a game 2. And a game 3, I don't know if it's possible. Oh, that's how he got the Bojoku Bog into play at instant speed then. He was using the Horizon Land.
That makes sense, I suppose.
He just never had enough mana to use that ability before.
Yeah, that's true. He's been stuck on, two mana or so the entire time. Okay, attempting to cast Life from the Loam again. Well, we're dredging it now. Oh, there's a mana bond.
It won't matter.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
another force.
It's going into the bin.
Right.
But yeah, he's got another Force of Will in hand, so here goes. Tempted to play that, and we're gonna force it.
And the frightening thing is, Ben has not
He's
apparently
hard casting it. We
got
don't even
another
need to.
Ben has not got another green mana producing land, so a wasteland on that Yavin Maya could have ended this game a long time ago.
Long time ago. Yeah, we'll have to talk to Michael after the game is over, after the match is over, to really figure out where his mind was. Now, Michael just counted his library, and it looked like there were less than 10 cards in it.
I don't know how many Ben has.
It looks like a hefty stack.
He's been life and unloaming every turn for the last 10 turns.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm exaggerating, but it's been quite a lot of life from the loams. 18 life. I'm wondering if Michael just pulls the trigger at this point and.
No, he's only got 4 cards in hand. It's not going to be enough to kill him, but it will be another extra point or 2 of damage. It just doesn't change the clock, though.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, it's 11,
12.
and then it's going to be 12 right now from pitching this Thoughtseize.
So he can survive another 2 draw steps and these frog draws. And I think Michael's out of Force of Wills.
That would make sense.
I
haven't been keeping track of how many he's cast. He's cast a lot.
I'm not certain.
But there's another Murktide.
Well, it pumps up the first Murktide, so it's now over 21.
Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, I don't even know if we need to tell him that, but yes, Ben is keeping track of that, so.
So there's no worry about Dark Depths anymore.
But yeah, sure, let's just put a 5/5 into play. 5/5 with flying. He says, deal with this gigantic board or die.
And he has 7 minutes to hopefully deck Michael out. I think that's his only win con at this point.
I mean, yeah, Michael just wins on the next turn for sure. Yeah, see, Michael's spreading out his library, seeing how many cards he has in hand, or in deck.
Well, at least the draw a card is mandatory. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a May. Frog is not a May trigger.
So how much are Psychic Frogs now? I feel like I need a
I think
playset.
Psychic Frogs are like somewhere in between $7 and $10 each.
I kind of feel like it's a sleeper, and it's actually possibly the best card in Modern Horizons 3. You can get him?
Around $8.
I got to give Ben credit. He's been a trooper. Instead of going to a... Oh.
Life Alone actually might be resolving here.
Yes, but...
That's just a little too late, though.
I'm a little concerned. Maybe there's a 3rd Maze of Ith or a 4th Maze of Ith.
I don't think it matters. Ben's at 6 life. Michael's got 4 cards in hand that he can just pitch to any of these frogs to make either one of them lethal.
Right. Glacial Chasm? Just kidding.
Yeah, if you had Glacial Chasm, that would be it for sure.
Hey! I got to give Ben credit. He's been a trooper, but I would have essentially lost game 1 and gone to game 2 about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think Ben, to save time, Ben probably should have scooped a while ago, but
he was almost winning. It's just.
Yeah, the game took a very major swing as soon as that Mana Bond got Thoughtseize out of Ben's hand.
20 life to 59 life, 2 Maze of Ith, but Psychic Frogs have drawn Michael.
I think at the time it was like 26 life to 59 life or whatever like that, and now we're looking at Ben at 4.
And Michael at 38, and almost decking out.
Yeah, double Triumph of St. Catherine has definitely been a thing. But yeah, maybe Ben is playing to exactly that, trying to deck him out.
I have to say though, I have never seen a 21-21 Murktide before.
It's a big, like I said earlier. I think the 18-18 Murktide or whatever it was is the biggest Murktide I've ever seen.
Well, I thought it got bigger because of the second Murktide, so it became bigger than Merit Lage.
All right, cool. So that was game 1.
Yes, they now have 4 minutes to play game 2.
I don't know if Ben is going to wish to play game 2. He might just scoop it up and call it good.
He might try to Mana Bond. If he gets it on turn 1 or 2, he might go for it.
Yeah, he could get a turn 2 Merit Lage.
Possible.
All right, looks like they are actually going to sideboard.
Ben is going to play this as fast as possible. Just, again, recommending next time when it becomes like that, Ben, scoop, go to game 2.
I mean, Michael had like 4 cards left in library or something like that. So I don't honestly blame him that much for trying to play it out.
Right.
I don't know what Ben could have drawn there, because in that last moment before he died, he tried to draw a card with the Horizon Land to see what he did, and then instead of drawing, he dredged the Life from the Loam. I don't know what that does for him. Maybe he had some sort of like
Thank you so much.
maybe he had some sort of like echoing depths or something like that, to where like if he milled Glacial Chasm,
I was thinking
echoing depths the Glacial Chasm by putting it into play
right
with, I don't know.
No,
I have no idea.
I'm agreeing. I
Ben
think
didn't
it's
even have that much mana.
I'm thinking Glacial Chasm, and then and then shift, possibly, or I'm wondering if he might have been able to take a look and stage it multiple times with Life from the Loam, and then essentially not take damage for the rest of the game. He was just searching for it.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
He might have had enough cards in his library where he could just Glacial Chasm the next 2 turns and win.
I don't know how he could have gotten it into play though. On that very last moment, I don't know how he would have done it.
Right.
All right, we got 2 minutes left in the round.
I forgot the shuffling. Yes.
If Ben can squeak out a very fast mana bond hand, maybe that's all he's looking for. Maybe he's just gonna look at 4 cards, see a mana bond,
he's shuffling.
and then just go crazy. Go
He's
manic,
mulling,
trying to
but
look for that
Michael's
mana bond.
Michael's going to keep. He has a Force of Will, and that's all he cares about. Well, I hope he has a land, but yeah, he has a Force of Will.
So I'm assuming Ben keeping here means that he's got a no, did he mold a 5?
He did.
I thought he molded a 6.
No.
Okay, maybe he kept a mana bond hand.
Turn 0.
Yeah, I know it says 1 minute left on the clock on our screen, but we started the timer a little bit late.
Right. All right. Does Ben have a second mana bond?
That was exploration.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not mana bond, but it just got Force of Willed. And they players are in turns right now.
Turn 3, I believe. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes. And Michael, all he has to do is nothing.
Yeah, Michael has to do nothing and just wins the game 1-0.
What is that?
That is a Sphere of Resistance.
Oh, I don't remember seeing. Oh, I see. It's the
it's
Fallout
like
art.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It just looked like a big green blob. I'm sorry. Honestly, that was a very interesting lands game. I give credit to Ben and Michael for playing it out, and there's a lot of decision trees in that. Is this turn 4?
I don't know.
Okay.
We can only assume that the players are keeping track of their turns.
'Cause I thought this was turn 5, but I must be wrong.
This might be an in-step brainstorm or in response to the it looks like a response to the Sphere of Safety or
Sphere of Resistance.
Sphere of Resistance. Sphere of Safety. Of course I would say an enchantment.
There is a Sphere of Safety, yes. I love that card. Do you play EDH?
Almost never.
Okay. Got it. Have to ask.
Almost never.
Since you play so many different variations of Magic.
Yeah, I am a constructed player through and through.
Mm.
EDH for me is a bunch of friends sitting around a table, eating pizza and drinking beer.
Nothing
Like-
wrong with that.
And I'm very much of the keep commander as casual as humanly possible.
So not a CEDH player, but EDH
Absolutely
is
not,
fine.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, EDH, totally fine, sitting around a table, having fun with friends. But anybody that takes it too seriously with all their like infinite combos and all this different stuff, I don't know how many turns they've been on.
I
but
am very confused. This is
too
more than
many.
5.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we should.
Oh, I remember Michael came back from the bathroom. Right?
Oh
Wait.
yeah. They did have a slight extension because Michael was in the restroom. That's right.
So
Okay.
this is against
now they're on turn
1.
Okay.
Okay. It feels like forever ago that this match started. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael draws so many forces of will. It's a 2-2. Soon to be potentially a 4-4, but I don't think it's going to ramp up fast enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably not going to be enough. So it looks like he's just shortcutting, making the extra dude before searching. Of course, he has to take his draw because Urza's Saga triggers on main phase. And he thought about getting the bauble there for a second, but he might be rethinking that plan.
He needs
That's
haste.
a Lava Spur Boots.
Mm.
Is Lava Spur 1 to equip?
It is 1.
Okay. So it looks like he is trying to close out this game as quickly as possible here. And he is just going to be swinging in.
1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 damage potentially this turn. Plus the 1 from the Lava Spirit Boots itself, 9 damage.
Yeah. That's a 2-turn clock. Ben could actually
Yeah.
win if Michael doesn't have any.
He has a Swords to Plowshares.
No, that's a Triumph St.
Oh,
Catherine.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, they can end up calling this game a draw. It looks like Triumph, Force. I can't tell what the other 2 cards are.
I mean, I'm going to give it to Ben. If he wins,
It's
with
a
2
really
minutes
fast
of
start, for
regulation
sure.
time and essentially actually 4 or 5 minutes of regulation time and the extra 5 turns, I give him credit.
Yeah, Michael had gone to the restroom earlier before the round, or just as the round was starting. So we gave him some extra time. I'm trying to see the 2 cards that Ben has in his hand, but he's shuffling them so fast. Oh, one of them is a 6.
Oh, I love that card. I just don't know if it's legacy playable. It's a good card, though.
I think in his version of lands, it actually is.
Is that a Murktide? Because I think that's the only way Michael doesn't die.
That does look like a Murktide.
And I know there's enough instants in that
It's Triumph
graveyard.
of St. Catherine, Murktide, Force of Will, and one other card, and I cannot tell what that one other card is. Okay, there's a Murktide. Probably for almost full value. I think you can do it for 4 here.
Now, the Sphere, he has to pay the extra 1, but he can pay the extra 1 from the graveyard.
Oh, it's a back to basics. The other card in his hand is a back to basics.
Ah! Ooh, that's backbreaking if he got it fast enough. So, that's a 4. So, it would be a 7/7, 5, 8/8, full value. Everything.
He's exiling
everything.
too many cards.
He doesn't care.
I guess it doesn't matter. I think he exiled 2 lands and 4 spells.
Oh, it's a 7/7. Okay.
Yeah,
Either way.
I think he exiled 2 lands and 4 spells. I might have counted incorrectly, but
Either way, I think he's stabilized. Unless there's something to get rid of the Merit Lage. There we go. This is turn 3. End of turn.
Ben can win on turn 5 here.
Yeah.
Ben can win on the last turn of the game.
Block 1. He's
Block
down.
1, take 4, go to 4. End of turn, make a Dark Depths token.
I'd have laughed if he had one more mana than in 2020 with haste. 2120 with haste. All right. Michael needs anything, honestly, to block.
Yeah, right. Ben only needed one more mana to actually do that.
Yep. If Michael draws the 5th land, he'll have enough to cast St. Catherine. But it looks like it's a prismatic. Is that it?
Yeah, it's a prismatic ending, which can get rid of the token.
I get rid of the boots myself, but that's great.
I mean, the token is what actually kills you because the Murktide can block the Dark
Right.
Depths, right? So Michael, knowing that he can block the Dark Depths, the Merit Lage token, and call the game a draw, that's better for him than killing the boots because.
But then it would just be a 2-2. Actually,
Sure.
1-1. 1-1. Sorry, 2-2. 2-2.
Yeah, we had 2-2. All right, it looks like that's the draw.
Interesting game. Ben almost pulled it off.
Yeah. So there's a draw in round 3. Very, very long game 1.
Oh, not a draw. It's 1-0 Michael, but yes, it was almost a draw.
Oh, right. Ben didn't win. I'm sorry. Yes. So that was Michael wins that one. I'm sorry. Ben didn't actually win that game. It was that game was a draw, so Michael wins the match.
There you
You're
go.
right. Okay. So, we will go ahead and see if we're going to get a round 4 here. If not, we will come back in just a minute and sign off for the night. So stick around, everybody. Either way, I will be back in just a minute with either a round 4 or a sign off for the night. All right, friends, we are back for round 4. We are going to have Ben on camera again here. He's on the opposite side of the field. And even though we have a massive thing in play, both players have just absolutely thrown their hands onto the battlefield on turn 1 here.
Oh, they threw up the hands? All right.
Yeah.
This will be fast. Great.
Yeah. Both players effectively have their entire hands in play. Turn 1 mana bond from Ben. And we have Andrew on the right-hand side. I know I haven't changed the names. I'm very sorry. They started playing very quickly before we got back in the studio.
They're actually playing round 4.
But Andrew is on Madness here. And if you're unfamiliar with what that deck is capable of, it can just throw its entire hand out almost immediately.
And it looks like he had an amazing early turn.
Yeah. So
3 Root Wallas, Putrid Imp.
That's a hollow one.
Hollow one.
Yeah.
And he has a... Oh, and he has an... I'm sorry. And he has a Lion's Eye Diamond in place. Versus Michael, who...
Ben.
Sorry, I apologize. Versus Ben. Does he have a Merit Lage? Oh, no, so he has an...
No, he's got an Urza Saga on field, yeah.
Got it. Life total is 3-19. Okay. Effectively going to game 2 in probably 30 seconds. Unless we do see that glacial chasm.
Ben just really wanted to play on camera again because he feels like he kind of got robbed in that last one. So he wanted to play on camera again. We'll do him a solid here. There we go. I know I haven't started the counter. I'm not going to.
I don't think it'll matter.
Yeah, it's not really going to matter. This game's going to
side.
be over in just a minute.
I thank my Lord, my God, that it's Madness versus Lands at this point because it's going to be 3-minute games.
All right, looks like Ben has just made a Merit Lage, even though Andrew put his entire hand into play on turn 1. Probably the fastest game of the night.
Yes.
Easily the fastest game of the night.
That's how Mana Bond should work when it's working on all cylinders. So I'm going to just ask, 'cause I wasn't sure. Did Ben win?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Ben created a Merit Lage token and just killed Andrew very, very quickly.
I'm actually a little curious. Putrid Imp can fly, right?
Putrid Imp
can't block.
Yes, you can give it flying, and then if you give it flying, it cannot block.
Okay.
I believe that's the.
I just thought it couldn't block.
Let's read Putrid Imp. Discard a card. Putrid Imp is flying. Oh, as long as there are 7 more cards in your graveyard, it gets +1/+1 and can't drop.
Oh, so it could have
So,
blocked.
I think it was tapped.
Oh,
I think he swung with it.
really? Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I'm not judging. It happens.
Everything happened so very fast in that game. You sat down and the game was over.
Yes, pretty much. Sorry, I had to get my Tabernacle back from a player I loaned it to. I had to make sure they didn't leave yet.
You are very trusting to loan out a Tabernacle.
Most of the guys, and I'm happy to say, most
That
of
is
the
true.
guys here are very trustworthy.
That is very, very true. That's one of the greatest things about the community here at Spellhold in Southern California in general. Our legacy crowd is incredibly respectable and very trustworthy. All very, very, very good players, and just a great crowd of people in general. There's an exploration from Ben.
All right, this is
See
already
a little bit of a slower start from Andrew there, though.
This is already longer than the last game. All right, is that a? Actually,
I can't tell what that card is.
I want to say it's a Piety Needle, but I know that's not right.
No, it's not right. All right, we got a Burning Inquiry from Andrew here.
Okay, he always has great Burning Inquiry random luck. Let's see. Oh, okay. Got rid of a hollow one, a Lion's Eye Diamond.
And a Root Walla, which he'll be casting for free.
Right. Let's see what's else in the hand. Because if
Ah,
oh
Andrew got
Oh.
Ben's Grafdigger's Cage.
ah
So he's going to play a Putrid Imp,
and a free
which
hollow
gets
one.
Vengevine back, and now he can put a hollow one into play for free
Right.
because he's discarded 3 cards. It's a big and fast board from Andrew very quickly.
Even if Madness, again, it's not necessarily a tier 1 deck, it's a fun deck to play.
Andrew seems to have a heck of a time playing it for sure.
And Andrew manages to beat variants quite often because when he plays it, he tends
he's
to go
got those-
4-0.
He's got those real ugly Vengevines
Yeah.
that he bought specifically for that deck, I think.
I think he likes Fallout, or he just likes ugly Vengevines.
No, he just really likes ugly cards in general. He likes having the memeiest versions of cards.
So there's another, I think that's a Maze of Ith.
Yes, that looks like amazing.
So Ben could survive potentially this. He'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6. Maybe, I don't think there's 7 cards in the graveyard yet.
No, it looks like there are 6 cards in Andrew's graveyard. But here's actually a pretty big one from Ben. Elvish Reclaimer with 3 or more lands in the graveyard actually becomes a 3/4, which actually becomes a pretty good blocker for Root Walla.
Right.
And I think he does have 3 lands in the graveyard.
Oh, discarding,
That's an Anji's Ravager.
which is an amazing card on this board state.
Yeah,
he's
Andrew just gets to
swinging.
dump his hand and then draw more cards whenever it attacks.
I loved Angie's Ravager until Bowmaster came out, which would then kill Angie's Ravager.
It's a Ravager's a 3/3, I think.
Yes, but you discard your hand, draw 3
Oh,
cards.
and draw more cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played Anji's Ravager in mono red for a time.
Okay, 9 to 19. It looks like Ben might have stabilized.
Maybe. Andrew still has a pretty big board here. He's wastelanding the Badlands.
If yet, I'm sorry. I know he doesn't have a Tabernacle. I'm just keep on saying it. This would be a great.
Tabernacle would be very, very good on this board.
All right, that's another wasteland, I believe.
Yes.
And he's searching for
He
a
fetched,
sphere.
so he's searching for a land and then tapping the wasteland to play sphere. And he also still has that Maze of Ith up. And
a 3/4 blocker.
I think there are 3 lands in his
I'm hoping he
graveyard.
remembered to keep them in. Otherwise, this could be
Keep what in?
lands in the graveyard.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, cycling. We have an Ox in the graveyard.
Discarded it to Putrid Imp. Looks like he's swinging out here.
He draws 3. Sorry, discards,
Discards
draws
his hand
3.
and draws 3 cards. Maze of Ithing the hollow one.
He's blocking the Vengevine, I believe. Not the. Okay.
Yeah, looks like he's blocking Vengevine.
And I
that
think
is game.
that's enough damage to going through.
I think Ben just decided to scoop it up.
Makes sense. I'm not sure if he had anything that could actually slow down the
Yeah, I think
Ravager.
it was only like 4 or 5 damage
right.
coming through, but
But the Ox was going to come down
Ox is
relatively
going to come
soon.
down and, yeah, just make it. It's going to just kind of overrun Ben. Ben didn't have enough to really come back there. All right, we are going into Game 3. Easily the fastest match that we've had tonight.
And there's still some interaction there, although I have to say with this fast pace, I don't necessarily know what's going on sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep track sometimes.
All right, Ben's play. Let's see if he's keeping. He is. All right. Exploration. And let's see what Andrew. He kept the 7, so I'm assuming it's very good.
Could be Badlands into Burning Inquiry. It's probably one of the best starts that Andrew can have.
Imp
Oh, that's a Putrid Imp.
can also be excellent. Let's see what he discards, if any.
Yeah, he can just start really discarding cards
Rootwalla.
here.
Yep. Another imp.
Is that an Anger?
Yes, it has haste. Oh. Yep.
Cool. So now his board
6.
has haste here. And that's coming in for 6. Pretty good start from Andrew there. That looks like a Glacial Chasm that Ben drew.
He does play it.
I think Ben is trying to keeping his... Oh, yeah, he plays both. Okay. There it is.
If he has a life from the loam, he does not. Okay, I guess that's...
So Andrew just can't beat the Glacial Chasm, I guess?
If there's a life from a loam loop, yeah, I don't think he...
Yeah, with the Life from the Loam, I think
And the
Andrew
Exploration.
just decided to say, I'm packing it in here.
Good game,
Well,
though.
Wow. That came from a very explosive turn 1 from Andrew, and
It's over.
then it's over.
All right.
Losing to a land.
This is
All right, everybody, thank you so very much for watching tonight. Weird and interesting matches,
But I
for
like
sure.
the fact Legacy can also be your 1 or 2 turn and win or lose, or also you go to time. It's just a
Yes.
varied format.
Yes, it is a varied format, which is why it is easily my favorite format. Once again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to Tuesday Night Legacy. We are down here at Spellhold Games. This stream is brought to you by Spellhold Games and Collector Legion. Make sure you check out their websites, collectorlegion.com and spellholdgames.com.
Right. And don't forget, Crazy Nix is also now.
Oh, yes,
online as
Crazy.
well.
I keep forgetting. Crazy Nix is now a part of the Collector Legion family. Give them all some love for all of your TCG needs. Until next time, until two Tuesdays
weeks.
from now, I believe.
Right.
2 Tuesdays from now, we should be streaming again with other commentators. If you are new here, we actually do this every couple of weeks, every other week. Local players from our LGS commentate on the matches that we have here for live streaming for all of you for more Legacy content. So once again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you in a couple of weeks. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe, stay cool, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.